Davis over here. So that's.
You are unmuted.
I'm not super.
Good morning.
I used to hear ahead.
Today is March 8th, 2023. Time is now 9 a.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners, and I will call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. If you have cell phones, if you could please silence them at this time. And if you would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Rich, would you be so kind?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. And please join me for the invocation. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning, and Lord, we just ask that as we come together to take care of the business of the county, that you would be with us. We ask that you would guide this meeting, that you would guide us, that you would guard us, guard our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And we just ask that we would conduct ourselves in a worthy manner. We just pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Billy, could we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Day,
Present.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
And Clerk to the Board, Kelly Camper, President.
And audience introductions, and we'll start right here with you, sir.
You bet. Yes. My name is, I hate that. First name is Henry, and you never heard that. I go by Wes. I hate the name Henry, but Wes Taylor. I've been resident for 15 years here. So.
My name is Al, last name is Boisvert, it's a little French. Been here since 2007. Glad to meet everybody.
Do you want to spell that last name?
Yeah, it's B as in boy, O-I, S as in Sam, V as in Victor, E-R-T.
How did you say it?
Boisvert, you don't pronounce the S.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you sure there's a B in there?
It's a
B
bit.
is Greenwood, French.
There you
They
go.
left at Greenwood, been a lot easier.
It's just L.
Probably not the first time you had to go through that.
Oh, no, every time in school when they call.
What was your last name again?
Taylor.
Taylor, that's what I thought you said.
Go ahead.
Good day, Whitmore.
Rich Smith, Sheriff's Office.
And Jennifer Cree, admin to the board.
Okay, and I don't know, I don't think we have, well, we do have one online. If anyone goes to speak later, if you could identify yourself for the record, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. Any amendments to the agenda?
I got 6 online.
Okay. I didn't, okay,
No big
we're
deal.
up to 9 now, so
Okay.
I was just looking at the top row.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I'm not hearing any amendments to the agenda. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. We do have minutes for February 28th and for March 2nd, 2020.
Approved for February 28th and March 2nd, 2023 minutes to the meeting.
I would second that motion. Any discussion on those?
Darn, Kelly, you didn't even misspell it.
I'll vote, but it'll be under protest today. Did you hear me? I said, I'm gonna vote.
I did hear.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't have to acknowledge that.
No, I didn't really expect it to, but
All right. So those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 yeah, good job.
Commissioner items, Commissioner Kanda.
Yeah, a couple things. We had some good, a lot of things happening since the last meeting, few things we had. Broadband, we had a SCED meeting with them, and they have offered to help us, and it looks like a good partnership's evolving. You were there, I think, Kevin. And the meeting went well. Tagging on to, just to remind everybody, the PMR, that we had the program management review for the fiber broadband program. We had very good news because they're going to start laying down fiber in May, and it's proceeding, and we've got a lot of opportunities for grants to get it into the residents to go after into the outlying areas in the rural areas. So that's going well. And what we're going to start doing is publishing the PMR minutes and advertising it a little better and inviting the public, because a lot of people aren't aware of what's going on. We found that out during that meeting as well. So looking forward to a little more participation. We may have to move it out of the town hall in Westcliff to someplace bigger, maybe. We'll see how many people come. Then we had what else was there? Airport report. We'll have the airport report, but the airport and meeting, we had a great thing happen there too, out there on the airport board. The American, let's see, what's it called? The Soaring Society of America, the US branch. There's a soaring society that's worldwide, sailplanes everywhere. And the branch that's here in the United States wants to put a tracking system here in the valley so that when they're soaring out and over, they know where these gliders are. This is probably the capital of soaring here in the Wet Mountain Valley, believe it or not. The mountain wave coming up off of the Sangres they can launch them up to, they've been to 30,000 feet in those gliders, and they'll sail clear to Montana and back. They've done that. And so this is really a good thing. It's a neat thing to have growing wise for participation up here in Custer County. Airport's really growing. And then we'll get to the airport report here in a little bit. And let's see, what else have I got for now? I'll let you report the stuff from the meeting on attainable housing. And then we had a Custer County Emergency Services meeting, which was pretty well attended. I thought it was a good meeting. Not much news to report out of that. I'll let you guys bring it up. That's all I got for now.
All right. Mr. Clark. Thank you, sir. Off my calendar, on March 2nd, I did attend that CES meeting over at Search and Rescue. Obviously, was the first meeting that our new OEM manager was at, Robin Knapp. Be interested in talking to her this morning, because I have got to get the correct pronunciation of her.
Is it Knappy? Is it Knapp? Is it Knapp?
He left a voicemail on my phone.
Is it Knapp?
Knapp. So
Knappy is right.
well, I'll get that clarified today, but yeah. And then a couple other things, if I may. We are in the process of arranging for new carpeting in the court side, courthouse, the main office and judge's chambers, and the court security office. I'm waiting for a call this week from the installer. He called me last week, and I said, well, recall me on Saturday. And I said, let's call back this week. We'll get with Christine and get that scheduled up. They have a new court clerk over there as well, Christy. She started last week. So the question come up, do we want to try to get the courtroom walls painted before we put in the new carpet? So I told Christine I would bring that up today. Most likely we will have to hire that out. I don't think Dave I think it's a little more than what he wants to bite off. I'm not sure it's fair to ask him to paint it. So I don't know if we need to put that out for bids, if we just need to contract somebody to do it.
Probably it's under over 1,000. That one of them.
I have no idea until we get somebody in here to give us a bid. I suspect we probably ought to put it out. Unfortunately, that's going to set us back a couple weeks. He can probably start in the courts with their carpet until we decide what we're going to do about the courtroom. Government, frustrating.
You agree it needs to be painted?
I don't have an opinion about that. It's really not. I mean, it's our call whether we do it or not, because we're going to end up paying for it.
Well, yeah.
I think it probably could use a fresh coat of paint. Courts folks believe that it needs to be painted, but if we want to say no, we're not going to paint it, then we'll move on, and I'll get the installer in there and we'll start putting carpet down. The other thing is, we can carpet it before we paint it. We just have to be a little more careful after we get new carpet down. When we do go to paint it, to make sure they have. good
Yeah, I
drop
think,
off.
it's a
So,
big deal, probably do that.
I don't know.
I'm all for putting the carpet down and going and getting bids.
And that may be the best way to do it. That way we don't get hung up on trying to get the carpet installed. All the carpet's here.
If he's ready to do it and the carpet's here, boy.
So maybe we ought to just strike while the iron's hot and then deal with the painting later. It wouldn't be the end of the world, so.
I'd go ahead and put it out. So that it doesn't
We don't
get pushed to
hung
the
up.
back burner and we forget about it. I
So
think
we'd
so.
have to put a RFP out,
Just a notice. Down.
and I don't know if we ought to have a pre-con meeting and let whoever's interested come in and look at the courthouse. Pretty tough for, I'm not gonna go in there and measure and say there's this many square feet to be painted. I'd rather have anybody interested come in and look and then give us a
That's the way to
bid.
do it.
I think that'd be the fair way. So maybe we can just put out a notice to bid and have a pre-painting, not construction, but a
Bidders
pre-painting
conference.
meeting and then look at it. So I'll get with Christine and make sure we'll pick a day. We're just gonna say, here's the bidder's date. You can come in and look, and then by this date, we need a bid back and we'll start.
Give them a week
Jennifer can write it in.
to get their bid in or
Yeah.
something.
So I think that's probably makes the most sense.
Mhm.
They are gonna paint the judge's chamber and the court security office, because they don't
They know when
know.
they can time them together.
Yeah. So if we go ahead and carpet the court room first, then they can be painting those other two offices.
So they haven't put a bid out for that, or we haven't, because
No, they're gonna paint that themselves. They don't.
Oh,
want
they are?
anybody in there.
Okay.
The court administrator said, no, we can't be having a lot of people in there around that equipment and that data painting, so they're gonna paint those rooms themselves.
Okay.
So I will move that project forward, then I'll work with Jennifer and we'll get something in the paper.
Good.
Sounds good.
And
That
then-
reminds me, I forgot to mention, that was the other thing we had was a good, I thought, workshop on the future maintenance contract, so that'll help in the future.
Yeah, that could be
Once we
something
take-
later on that we could turn over to
Sure,
that.
absolutely.
They could handle it.
All right,
And then, I'm working on securing a site for an air quality monitors, for public health. We've got one up and we need to get the other one up.
they found it. They got a site. You didn't get, he must not have included you, but they found a second site out at Trails End.
Oh, well.
He wanted a northern one and
We've got our wires crossed up because.
then they said that there's one down south already, I think.
Well, no, there's one here in town. They wanted one up on the north end, and so they asked me to
Yeah,
find them a
yes.
site. I found them a site, but it sounds like maybe something else is going on.
I don't know how that got, I just got a call and I said, when you cite places for site, and they suggested that and they accepted it. Trails End did.
I'm assuming we'll see the public health director.
We can
next
confirm
week,
that.
so- And I'll talk to Vernon about it as well. And then obviously, I don't know if we want to take formal action and approve the 2 resignations from the Affordable Housing Board or how we do that.
We, I think we have to accept because that was,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's a fact. The vacancy exists. Tracy, Ballards, maybe we want to accept that formally.
I'm not sure on that, if we need to accept those or just,
It could function within the board itself and I'm assuming at some point come to us for a recommendation to appoint new members, but
That's what they.
I do know that they're looking for new members.
I guess I would. If if you would entertain the motion, I would make it to accept those resignations, then we're covered. If not, I don't know.
I would entertain that.
They weren't paid employees, so it's a little different, but with that, I would move we accept resignation from the Affordable Housing Board from Tracy Ballard and Charles Bogle.
I'll second.
Okay, I do have a motion on the floor then to accept the resignations from Tracy Ballard and Charles Bogle off of the Attainable Housing Board. Any further discussion?
No.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
that's all I had, sir.
All right. Couple of things here. I did attend our crew meeting. That was the same night as that SCED broadband meeting, so I left the SCED meeting early. That was a good meeting. One of those, I guess the biggest question I had from individuals there was the lack of legal representation. I did let them know that we were in process of getting that posted and out. Although it would probably be next month before we did have anyone in place. But the meeting went well. And so going backwards into that broadband meeting, I think one of the things I took from that is I don't know how aware they were of our broadband efforts at SCED. So we did make them aware of those efforts, and they did state that they would not be in competition with us on that, that if there was anything they could do to come alongside and to help in our efforts, they would do that. But so hopefully that will take place that way. One thing I did notice, and Jennifer, I think it's my mistake. I have an email with the dues for the SCED. I did not forward that to you. I do not believe you were included in that email. So at the present time, we're a non-dues paying county.
Freeloaders called.
We're freeloaders, so we would still have the seat at that board, but they'd be non-voting seats at this time until our dues are paid.
How much is it anyway? I forgot.
$1,500
$1,500 or something.
I can try to find that real quick, I guess.
Did we get that included in the budget? Do you know?
That I am
I'll
not
look at the
sure
budget real quick and see.
either.
We were gonna look and I don't know.
And my apologies for not having this up.
I think it was there, Tom, but I can't remember for sure. There's too many of them.
Yeah, I don't know. And boy, just to try to go find one item in this budget,
Can't.
it's tough.
Need
It's
this,
buried in
this
the
says
general
you can
fund,
put
so,
SCED and then we'll go find it.
I believed it would be under dues, and I don't think there was an line item, but I could. be mistaken.
Or that the
Do
dues.
we need a motion to pay those dues?
Yeah, we do.
And so I would need to have that amount. Let me see if I filed it under SCED. I don't see it in my open ones.
I don't know that she had it got that in there. I think it's a question we asked, Kevin.
It's not there, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Our membership line under the commissioners just is a total
It just says
dollar
dollar.
figure.
Well, then I move that we pay the SCED dues pending discussion on the amount.
I will look for that and
I think we can
during a
approve
break
it.
today, and I will get that number and bring to us if that is okay with you gentlemen.
Yeah, I prefer to wait to entertain that motion till we have that.
Yeah,
amount.
that's fine.
That's
Can I
fine.
make a comment?
Ma'am,
So Clint always said that you guys didn't have to make a motion on those because it's in the budget and you never have before. It just gets paid.
That's true.
But it must not be in the budget this year, because it would have been paid had we done that. I think it got overlooked.
It got overlooked.
If somebody got a bill, but if he got the bill and he didn't give it.
I
to
think the
somebody,
bill was
then-
sent to me, the invoice was sent to me, and I did not get that forwarded to Jennifer.
So it's something that, you're right, we don't have to vote on.
I will find that email
Follow
and
through.
bring it up here
And
after the
just
break, if
follow
that's
through.
okay with you gentlemen.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then I'll be on the same page on that. Then of course, at the CES meeting, attended Florence Fire last night. They're moving forward with their crew quarters and their new station out in the Rockville, Cold Creek area. Was assured after that meeting that we're still on their list. It's just not quite time yet, as far as our ambulance service in the Wetmore area. And then you both had mentioned the attainable housing meeting. There has been some controversy on that attainable housing board. And then at the last attainable housing meeting, Mr. Bogle did tender his resignation. And then shortly after that, Tracy Ballard has sent in and tendered her resignation because of a job opportunity that she has taken and that will take her out of town. And but the housing board is looking at this time now for new membership, kind of trying to regroup a little bit. And part of the conversation is also possibly holding a couple of public forums to get some public input on this attainable housing. And also at that time, maybe if they're still in need of board members, see if any interest is there on that. But they're reaching out to different people. I've hit up a couple of people to be thinking of who they thought might be interested in that board. So they're putting together, trying to get a list of names to come to figure that out. And then just a quick note, with that action that we took, or that we were made aware of by JD, where the Red Cliff Ranch down there between Wetmore and Beulah, where the Game and Fish or the BLM took part of that over for public access. He had some paperwork that I signed this morning, which is basically, it'd be similar to PILT. And to turn in to get paid in lieu of taxes on that. And he has to fill it out and I had to sign it. So I did sign that for him this morning. That's all I had.
Do we need to take action on that or not?
I think since it was already a done deal, we wouldn't have to, but if you guys wanted to ratify that signature, I could do that. Okay,
I have a couple questions for you, if I may.
you may.
So the crew meeting, did you stay for the whole meeting or what's the format? I've yet to be to that.
You know, I did. I think after we do our part of that, we're free to go. I did go ahead and sit in on the rest of the meeting and try to behave and sit back there like a good boy. But sometimes I think I made comments or something, but
Probably why they don't want you there.
probably. So, but
Free thought doesn't happen.
So you were early on the agenda.
first on the agenda. So,
Yeah, when I did it, then first and boot out.
okay.
And then my other question is, and it's kind of a general question, so. What could SCED or CSU do for our broadband thing? I know they both want to jump on this bandwagon. I asked why and what are they going to do?
So what I know about it, because they worked at CSU has money to help on a portion of it. And so right now what we did, we said, get in contact with the program manager, the contractor Hilltop and work what that is, because what they all agreed, they cannot do something that would make us ineligible. And so they're there to help. So that's where that stands right now. And I can forward you the email that Reggie was involved with that, and the person that's the point man down there, and I can't, for CSU was involved too. On the SCED, they're more than happy to help us as well and make it so that they can bring it to the attention of the Upper Ark Council of Governments and the Warfano County guys to work with them, because that's in the grant process that they're interested in helping us write the grants to get them funded. So that's good, because that anything we can use to get more people involved makes us more eligible. So they're partnering up as well. So that's Leslie, what's her last name? Mastrooni, I think, is working that. And she asked, and I just yesterday morning, as a matter of fact, she had an email asking for the schedule for our meetings, the PMR, so that they can attend and listen and help as needed.
Yeah, I had suggested that SCED come to some of these broadband meetings that we are holding, and to get with all the powers that be, so that everybody's on the same page.
And CSU is using Reggie to attend those meetings.
And I think that it's all coming from the same pot, but I think if different entities to be able to help with different sections of this would be able to do this, it might defray some of those costs. And as long as everybody's coordinated and working together and not
and they were
combating each other for the same funds.
Right. And I'll tell you what pleasantly surprised me a little bit. They in that SCED meeting, remember we had some citizens there, locals, wanting a broadband and hadn't even heard of the programs that we've been doing. And so and they're really tickled to hear that their business may have some broadband capability to make big broadband use of. So it's working. And so that's another reason to keep bringing this to the public's attention, because it is being worked, and the state is using us as I called it the March of Dimes poster child for broadband, because they are anxious, because we're rural, yet we're close and able to get in here, people in here, and use this for an example for future work upstream into the other counties.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Right. And that's all I have. Jennifer, do you have anything for us?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right. That brings us to public comment. So if someone has something they'd like to bring up that's not on our agenda, please feel free to do so at this time. And I believe you gentlemen.
Not you're wearing an Air Force hat.
Yeah. Should I put it on? We've got the team here. Well, okay.
A
minute to get up here. Well, my name is Wes Taylor, and interestingly, I've written everything up, which I figured would be a good thing to say. All three of these folks had a copy, and you've gotten a copy. So what am I here for? But what I'm here for is, and I got a lot of that, which I'm not sure that a lot of the public is even aware of the fact. This is Silver Cliff, West Cliff, and all up here. This is the BLM right down at the bottom. It looks like a long ways. It's actually about 1.5 miles, because these are 1/4 mile sections up here, so it's pretty close. And BLM allows hunting, and I want to say one quickly right now, it's later in my speech, but I am not at all opposed to hunting. I've hunted myself for over 60 years. I understand about guns and the word safety, but I just haven't. I've been here 15 years. I have not seen a very safe operation going on here at all. And I'm not trying to blame BLM or Justin Crawl, Division of Wildlife or anything, but guys go up and show up there. 2 years ago, there were 8 trucks all lined up in a row, and I called it a dots of orange down here. And 8 trucks is a lot of people, and they just start marching across this land. But that's only when they shoot at these animals, and I'm talking primarily not archery and not muzzle loading, but the high powered rifles. Because as we all know, you could hit the mountain over here with one of those things. They go long, long ways. And it's a dangerous situation. And looking at these maps, and I've heard it before, but it just, that is about a mile and a half from here into the city, into the city limits of West Cliff or Silver Cliff. They'll go that far very easily. If they're lucky, they hit the animal. There's a big ridges along here, so maybe it goes in the dirt, maybe not. I was looking at it this morning from my house, which is down, way down on the bottom edge down here. There's a huge house. You've probably all seen it. It looks like a big ship coming on the horizon. It's a huge house right up here, just a half mile from the Silver Cliff city limits. And I'm trying to reach the man, not wanting to scare him off, but to let him know that this can be dangerous up there. In fact, last year I saw an animal taken, which was on Silver Cliff city limits, that's illegal. And it was taken and dragged down into the BLM. So they said, oh, I got him on BLM, and they hauled him off. I told Justin Kroll about this. He was aware of it. He found the people, talked to them, and he said, well, the only thing is I wasn't there to see it. So there's nothing I can really do. That's just one of many instances. This gentleman right here, Al, and I said this, there's 123 acres of property, which he's right out on the northeast edge of the BLM. And you can see it again, this map. I want to put it up somewhere, but it's hard to, but it's probably right up in the corner up here. And it's right up here. And BLM, his driveway crosses that BLM. So that's an issue, shooting across the road. But he at one time he was painting I watched the truck from my house, and they drove 3 guys, obviously Amish, because you can tell by their clothes, in the back of a pickup, drove out into the BLM, which you're not supposed to do, that's illegal. Then they shot from the back of the truck, and it ended, the bullets, he heard them going right over his head. This is not good.
2 rounds went by.
Yeah, right over his head. And I saw those guys, and I called Justin Kroll. He said, did you get any evidence? I said, well, I can tell you right where they were. So he showed up very quickly, within 10 minutes. And I told him right where it was. He found 4 or 5 rounds of 243 brass. He went out and tracked the truck, went left. I watched him. It's interesting. He went down there and he found a young Amish kid pedaling a bicycle, and he stopped him and he said, do you know about a white truck? And he said, well, that would be so-and-so down the road. Well, he went to so-and-so's house and there's nobody home. But he went back the next day and he did find the people, and they admitted to that. And they said, oh, I didn't know it was BLM. We were just trying to get prairie dogs. They're shooting at 600 yards. And I've seen this one in the letter, some visitors from back east visiting one of the Amish folks down there. They just showed up and went out there in a van, which I've since then put up a fence right on it's borders of a fence there. And I got a BLM to put up a gate wooden barricade. Well, it wasn't there. So they drove right on down along the fence, sat out there and just started shooting out there, prairie dogs, wherever they could find. They didn't know. It's just open land to people. Since then, with that fence, it's been posted no vehicles, no trespassing, hunting allowed, and so trying to just get the word out. So there's a lot goes on. There's a man named John Rusher. He leases a lot of 3,400 some acres out there, raising cattle. They're out around our place right now, and I like that. It's fine. But he's had people going out and shooting calves. One was shot, and they don't know who it was. Antelope shot and left there to rot. They just left them out there. Justin did somehow, I don't know how he did, but he tracked them down. He's an amazing guy. But the problem is that it hasn't even been known really that this exists, and it's pretty close to the city limits. And Justin and everybody, and I started this thing, it's on the bottom of this letter. A Colorado state senator, a state representative. I was told in the military, you go up the chain of command. Well, I started at the top now, and I work it all the way down. And it got ultimately down to Justin Kroll through his boss, and they all agreed, including him, agreed that this should not be. This is dangerous. We got too much change. As one of your deputies told me, he said the big one word here is change. I run into fellows out there that 100 or 30 years ago, I was a young boy with my dad. We go shooting, it's fine. Well, not anymore. We got houses going up all over, and it's a big. We've all seen that propane business. That's huge, and that's off. That's within the city limits, but it's certainly within a range of one of these big high rounds. And everybody out there, there are 1, 2, 4 houses going in right now. All 10 acres here, which were sold, have all been sold. They're going right up along here, 10 40-acre pieces. The first 4 have been sold. This one up here is being developed. There's more change, more people going in, which is just, I just look at the dangerous situation, and I just want to let people to be aware of this, because it seems, I did speak to Sheriff Byerly when he was here before. I'd never, nothing, he was in the process of leaving, I think, and nothing. And then every year when it's over elk and it's all good, it's another year, we go on with whatever we do and everybody does. And then all of a sudden, here we are. 4th of April is the deadline to put in for the draw tags for this park for high-powered rifle. 4 April, that's less than a month. And that season is rifle is October 7 to 15. So that's a little while. Well, we got lots to do. But it's just, so BLM is aware of it, Division of Wildlife is aware of it. They're said they're doing what they can, that's all I know. Justin Crawl, good luck. I mean, I have to quote you what he said the other day, everybody being short-staffed. He said he has one deputy to patrol 800 square miles. That is a, and that's the way it is. We all know that it's short, and so safety. And I've asked Justin, why can't you? I'm retired military for whatever that means, but I said, why don't I can just have a hat? And I've gone out there. I've confronted some of these guys. He asked me to. They're parked right along 324 when there were 8 trucks there. I stopped and talked to them, and then the guy jumped out. He was madder than hell. He wanted, who the hell are you? You part of wildlife? What do you want? I was writing out his license number. Looked like it was a policeman, and he wanted to know who the heck I was. I said, I'm just a concerned citizen. I didn't want to say anymore. I gave it to Justin. He said, he checked him out. He said, okay, they're okay. I forget what they were doing, but so anymore, he said, don't do that. It's dangerous. He said, just drive down the road. I take my camera, I flip it, just pop the button and take a picture and keep on. I'm going to check my mail. But if there's things going on, I do what I can to keep people safe and the hunters. I learned, I did not know this, but in the muzzle loading season, I've seen these guys out there with, I've never muzzle loaded shot, but with scopes on their rifle. That's illegal in Colorado. I did not know that until just the other day. In fact, one of their deputies told me, he came here from Nebraska. It's legal there, but he called it a fixed site. So it's just that you can't adjust it. But here you can't have scopes, and I've seen them on these guns. I know I have. So it's like I'm pointing a finger at Justin. He didn't like, he does all he can do. And I know it's not your job, but I just want to let you guys know that this has been going on for a long time. And it comes right, you got around, I hope it doesn't happen. You could probably put a bullet anywhere you want to within city limits. You could do that. And I don't think these guys want to do it. Hopefully they've all gone into the large hill, like a big backdrop, and they shoot right into that, which is Silver Cliff city limits. Because on the bottom of this map, Chris and Bryson up here, a great guy. He got me the map. But this big ditch along here is also the Silver Cliff city limits, as well as so they're shooting this way. There's a large hill. Hopefully a lot of it goes into that hill. But when I got guys building on the top of these ridges now and deflection and everything else, and I thought, well, I'm way down here. I'm fine. They shoot north. Not necessarily. These animals can go anywhere they want to, and they shuffle them up. They go heading south, and then they're going to swing toward me. I was stationed at the Air Force Academy for 6 years, and in my career, and I watched that happening. I watched one man shoot right into the cadet dorms. An animal went by him. He swung right past us and everybody else. Boom! Like the dorms are right there. Just not a good situation. He got nailed. Believe me. So that's all. I'll just keep it as short as I could, but I just want to let you folks know that, and I've got letters, and I've met the sheriff the other day, that this is not a good situation. And you may sooner or later hear from Division of Wildlife or somebody that they're going to make change. We hope so. And Justin says if we can just, all we have to do is put up a sign and no high-powered rifle. That's all we have to do. But the problem is it's BLM and Division of Wildlife. BLM is recreation needs, DW is hunting animals, so they conflict all the time, and I've been to all these guys, directors up and down. So anyway, that's all I'm going to have to say. But I really appreciate being able to. I mean, I came here old dark 30 thinking I wouldn't have the whole town. Let them all know. But you folks know now, and maybe the paper will get wind. And but it's, as I said, people, it's kind of the cat's out of the bag, because it's been this big. Well, I feel with my dad, we'll just do it again this year. We'll be fine. That's just not good. So anyway, that's about all I had to say. And But I do have, and let me make, I did want to announce that. I want to give my phone number if anybody cares. Not like I got a large audience, but I just want to give you my number out. If anybody can, it's the number right there. It's 719-966-2061. 2061. It's also on the bottom of these letters that you not all have, but 719-966-2061 West Taylor. So I've got a lot more information, names, phone numbers of all kinds of people up and down, whatever. But I didn't want to bring all that up today. It's not my point. But my main point is just the safety of it. This is just dangerous. It really is dangerous. This guy can talk about bullets over his head. Not a good situation.
One other aspect is there's 8 children on the road.
They're 9. Oh, 8. Right.
Yeah, one get married, so. And they're riding their little mini scooters and all that.
Bicycle. they showed up out there, one of a couple of little guys showed up and they were fascinated. Here are these men standing here with these arms, things and big guns in their hand. These kids, that's kind of cool, watching TV or whatever. And I just don't want to see that happen. And one of these goes south. That's not good. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna go, but I appreciate very much being able to report.
Thank you.
Me too.
And
Thank you, guys. Well,
Thank
thought
you
out,
for-
good presentation and. Again, it's obviously not in our realm, it really is BLM.
Of course it is, but yeah, it's within the county and so just let you know.
Yeah,
Good.
good. All right, thank you.
Thanks,
guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Tom.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah,
You
you
bet.
too, for sure.
Getting
Yeah,
this
thanks.
stuff. Appreciate it started.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you very much. Now we can shorten the meeting.
there you go.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Man. You want a Donny?
Thanks.
No,
Here, please.
what is it looking at too much, Tom?
Well, we're gonna have guests up here, I didn't think they needed to.
We don't want to tempt
To be
anybody.
tempted.
So Rich should have been back there eating on them before he came putting in. So
So,
any other public comment? We'll look online real quick.
yes, we have one.
Deb,
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Morning. Good morning, gentlemen. So I am Deb Adams. I now serve on the High Country Recycling Board and am also a volunteer at the Joni Liebman Recycling Center. And Tom Flower forgot to mention that at the beginning of this month, he drove a trailer to Pueblo with 10 aluminum bales that weighed an average of 560 pounds each and received a payment of $3,349, $3,349.20 for the load. So I just want to make a public comment that recycling does pay. I believe these funds will help support Custer County Recycles. And I just want to acknowledge Commissioner Tom Flower for, I feel, going above and beyond his duties as commissioner to take that trailer to Pueblo. Tom, you didn't mention that in your report, so I wanted to mention it because it is very helpful. And when you look at the amount of recycling material that Custer County is bringing to the recycling center, it's really wonderful that all that recycling is not ending up in our landfill. So thank you, the citizens of Custer County, for doing their part in recycling. And thank you, Tom, for your participation with the recycling efforts. Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, thank you. Anybody else?
I don't see it.
All right. That being the case, we'll move on to our staff reports. The VSO, Jared is unable to be here today. He did send a report that none of us seem to be able to open. So I guess we will address that when he gets back. And
You'll need to sign it eventually.
do we want to, I guess we need to see the report before we take any kind of action on it, or?
I would be fine with you.
Just sign it.
When you see it on
Yeah.
our behalf is fine.
Okay, I will do that then. I was planning on trying to meet with him tomorrow. So I will take care of that. That'll take us up to the sheriff's office. Rich, you're at.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I guess good to see you.
Good morning.
Back again.
I didn't want to torture you and have you sit in front of all those muffins.
Well, thank you.
this morning, So, and I thought you might need some room for your paperwork.
So I've got a few things to go over with the sheriff's office. We're running 2/3 of 1% over budget, or like our cash burn rate in February, but I did find 5 transactions that I think should have been on last year's numbers and not this year's. We have one police vehicle that needs a new transmission. It's getting on that. We're waiting on an insurance check for our police vehicle that was totaled in a crash in Canyon City. And then we ordered 2 police Tahoes, and my goal was to order brand new ones and then add approximately $20,000 worth of lights, radios, and radars to them. And I went to the designated vendor here in Colorado that does the fleet sales, and they said they couldn't take my order until September for a February delivery, and it's like, I need them now. And they actually looked and found two Tahoes, which are technically used, and they're in Dallas. And a police department bought them from Chevy Fleet, and then for whatever reason turned them back in. So we're actually going to go down and get them, and we save 20,000 a piece on that. So
Darn.
So they're
That'll help your 0.3 something percent.
Yeah.
yeah.
You had folks.
But you'd mentioned looking for used ones, and then I also wanted all the vehicles to be white to match, and these happen to be four-wheel drive and white, so it fit exactly what we need.
You have folks that are capable and willing to go down and get them.
I do. Yeah. In fact, the Salida police chief told me he's been buying his in Dallas. He's been getting a better deal down there than here in Colorado. I'm concerned again, once again, about the community signing up for the Everbridge reverse 911 system. And the only way that they'll be notified in a disaster is if they're pre-signed up for that. And so we just created some business cards that the sheriff's deputies are going to be handing out in town or setting up in stores. And
Yeah, somebody said they had problems with it, and I was gonna ask, if you got something that you can give us to.
yep, I will
Sign it.
email it to Jennifer as soon as I get back. It unfortunately it's not a user-friendly thing,
Yeah.
and people who are not tech savvy don't enjoy the process of signing up. So there actually is a mail-in card, and so I'm going to work with the county PIO to go to both newspapers and print this card that the citizen could cut out and then mail in an envelope to Freecom, and then they
That'd be
would
cool.
manually enter it.
Good.
And I apologize for the
The Free
interface.
boys said they'll enter it for them.
Yep.
I believe I'm signed up, but I probably should verify that.
So I will verify it for you. And what I would like to do is I'll publicize in advance, like on a Saturday at noon, to do a test message on Everbridge. And then perhaps in the coming weeks, we could do our one-on-one where I would go to each of your districts, and you'd mentioned doing yours
Yeah.
at the Alpine.
Yeah, I'd
at
like to do
Wetmore
that.
Community Center and at the bowling alley. So the people would know, oh, I don't have the thing, and then they could come there, and then we'll help them sign up or give them the postcard to mail in. We did a tip a cop at Willie's restaurant, and it was very well attended. We raised $3,300 for bulletproof vests. And we also had staff there who would take citizens' phones and then sign them up for the Everbridge process. Our 911 center is upgrading their software. And there's two pieces of software there. One is the computer-aided dispatch with the dispatcher enters it in the computer. And the second piece of that is called RMS Records Management. And that's on our side. That's where we keep our police records. And so they're upgrading it to a new system called Tyler, which will cost more and it's more complicated. But the salesman gives us a really good demo of how it works. And the one key feature of that is a mobility solution. And so I am working on a federal grant to get laptop computers for the police cars. And then the deputy could create the report right at the scene of the crime instead of taking notes and coming back to the office to type it in, if there's cell coverage there. And then another feature.
They're gonna have to sit and wait for him to get a signal and
Right.
go, is that right?
Yeah. So, and then I realized that, there's large areas of the counties without cell phone, but at least even in Wetmore, they could take it down in Wetmore or in your area, up north. And then it has a very robust mapping capability. And so the dispatcher would actually get to see where the police car is if the computer is in there, and then give the deputy directions like, go 2 more streets and turn right or whatever, or if the person needed help could bring help to them. We're also working on mental health. We had a meeting with Sol Vista, the sheriff's office, EMS, and some concerned members of the community. And this has been a recurring issue here, is that the sheriff's office is the first line of defense for people who are having a mental health crisis. And then it's not good, to show up and put them in handcuffs and drive them off in a police car. It just aggravates the situation. And so Sol Vista has created a regional assessment center in Salida, and it's on the campus of the Salida Hospital. And thank you, Ryan. I have these, which I'll pass out for you. And so the citizens can actually drive their family member to Salida 24 hours a day. And there's actually a physician there. And so the minute you get into the center, you start getting the help that you need, which is different than our tools that we've had in the past, which is take them to the emergency room. Doctor says, I can't help you, and there's no beds to go to. And then Sol Vista is also going to have a mobile crisis team, which is currently based in Canyon City, and they will respond up here at the request of a deputy or EMS. And then actually start helping the person in their home, and then ultimately look for a solution, which is usually going to be some kind of a bed. And in the summer, they're going to open up a medical detox. And I've been to several detoxes in my past career, dropping people off, and it's a miserable place to be going through withdrawal for drugs or alcohol. And so this one in Salida is also going to have a doctor. And so the minute you walk in, they give you a drug that can help with the symptoms and safely bring you down from whatever you happen to be on. Our jail transports are less than predicted, and I had budgeted for 10 trips a month. And this month we made 3 round trips and 1 single trip. And then we had 3 extra arrests that we bonded out locally. And that's the purpose of having the 1 booking room here. And if there's a chance they can bond out, we just let them sit here until the bond can get in and get them out instead of driving down. And that is, I have some crime data. Our police reports are up 16% year to date. So we've gone to 16% more calls. And our arrests are up actually 50%. And that comes from increased DUI arrests mainly.
What was the first stat?
16. Police reports are up 16%.
Just reports. What does that mean?
So that's where a citizen calls a deputy. We go out there and then take a report of a theft or something. So
It may or may not be real. Or are they all?
it probably is real if we're taking the report
Okay.
on it. And
So that's
there
an
are some
indication
calls.
of crime going up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what.
Yes.
And the arrests are too, of course.
You said the arrests were up.
50%. But those are mainly from DUI arrests and not other crimes.
Hey, back to your budget real quick. You said you're 0.5% over. Did that include all the savings you made and not spending the money you did, or is this?
Yeah, it does
was
include savings.
It did,
I'm still ahead.
So
of it. My burn rate is a little high.
even with the 20K on your car.
So I haven't actually, we haven't
That's
done a check for that.
Yeah,
yet.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
But that's in the budget.
all right. Yeah, I know it is, but you're gonna save on that, so your 1% is gonna be
Mitigated. I
mitigated by a bunch.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was clear. 'Cause I hate to hear that if it was including all that.
Any other questions?
Could you give us an update on the naloxone in your vehicles?
Yes, so we, naloxone is a medication that the deputies can, and in fact, members of the community can give to a person who's suffering with overdose, primarily from fentanyl. 4 young people a day in Colorado die from fentanyl overdoses. And so we worked with EMS, and EMS came out and trained every deputy, the civilian staff, and all the posse on how to recognize the symptoms of a opiate overdose and how to administer a dose of this stuff. It's commonly called Narcan, but it's the actual active ingredient, this naloxone. And so we did obtain from the state a supply so that every vehicle the sheriff's office has that in it. And then we issued it to every person, including the posse, so that I have it on their person. I also called the state and have applied to be a distributor of Narcan. And once I get that in stock, a member of the community could come to the sheriff's office and say, and it's completely anonymous, that they want a dose of Narcan to keep in their house, and I'll hand them a dose, and they can use it for perhaps a family member who would.
And I don't know why it jumped in my head, but it did. And so you'd become a dealer.
Yep, a distributor. And so you have to, there's a health waiver that you have to get to do that.
So do we have a fentanyl problem here? Have you got any cases?
So to my knowledge, we do not have a fentanyl problem. Our drug dog is capable of detecting it. And since I've been here, we've run the drug dog through the school 2 times and thank God haven't found it. However, last week, we did work an unattended death with the coroner's office.
Mhm.
And we're waiting on the toxicology, and that will probably have fentanyl.
On the news today, and which the reason I asked the question is in the bigger cities where you have a lot of that. And they're getting a case where the people in the ambulances are the dust on the people that they're hauling is toxic. And matter of fact, they had a baby die because just a little bit of that in contact, they're gone. So it's a big bad problem.
So
So we gotta be careful.
I actually have a crime stat The state patrol seized enough fentanyl last year in Colorado to kill 93 million people.
Yeah.
And that's the.
Just to pay to Colorado.
Right.
It's crazy.
Is.
I'd like to know where it's all going, because if everybody's
Well,
eating that stuff, everybody ought to be dead.
It's
by now.
coming from China to Mexico
I know.
over the border, and then it's getting in here.
But 93 million people, we've only got a population of 300 million
Right.
in the whole country.
Right. And then that's just in Colorado. They're
So-
getting massive.
So I'd like to know what people are doing with this stuff, because it's banking it somewhere. That's just stuff we intercept.
Right.
I would have a quick question for you, I guess. You said your arrests are mainly DUI and the increase in that. Because this came up at our Florence Fire meeting last night, because their EMS now is no longer doing blood draws either. And because I believe they had talked with you or on that, we're gonna come up until they got clarification on this new law that just took effect. Although the hospital is still doing them down there. So you're still having to run everybody all the way into Canyon if they want a blood draw, correct?
As of today, that is correct. And we have run several people to the hospital to get a medical blood draw. However, we actually just identified a local vendor who is going to do that for us in the future. And she's named a price, and she's got the right training and certifications and insurance. And then she'll be available 24 hours a day and lives right here in Muscle, so she can drive to the jail and do it. for us.
That's good. That's a 2 hour. That's a
Savings.
2 hour round trip
Plus
for
the
you.
miles on the gas. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
so-
gas money.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yep, so she charges $200 to do a blood draw, and the ambulance used to do it for $50 a blood draw, and we bill that back to the patient.
So be careful what you ask for.
It's still a big savings.
Oh, yeah, tremendous savings.
Good, good.
Anything else?
Nope.
Good job. I don't care what the rest of the county thinks. Regardless. No, I hear nothing but good things, Rich. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you guys much. Thank you, sir. So I'll
Thank you,
work
sir.
with your PIO to do a test on a Saturday at noon. And then schedule like you guys on the next 3 Saturdays in a row, and we can go to your areas and get your people signed up.
Yeah.
Good, great plan.
And the interface is, it's not user friendly.
You're gonna do it in a row, 3 Saturdays, then?
Or however you tell me, but I'd like to get it done before the actual fire season starts.
Right, so the sooner the better.
The sooner the better.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't reach out to Everbridge and say, hey, we've got to make this more user friendly. I tried. I finally got frustrated and said, no, I'll just wait.
So I think the postcard is the best way to do it.
All right, sir. Well, thank you.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Great. You're up.
Take one, sir. Yes, how are you?
Rich, take one of those with you, will you? And share it somewhere.
Take them up.
I noticed.
This is a little blurry. Little blurry.
All right, thank you.
Nice job.
Huh?
Yeah.
I've only been
using it a couple of
It's been on
So
a.
it's fairly clean.
All right, well, I promptly got a report to you all about 15 minutes ago. It should be in your email, so I apologize to Jennifer. She was very good about asking for reports, and I was very good at not having it ready beforehand.
There it is.
I see it now.
I'll just pull it up here.
We got it on.
So hopefully quick and to the point. Instead of printing out the reports like I did last time, I guess I just printed out one report. I wanted to give 2 reports this month. One is that monthly totals report that I had for you last time. And then the second one is a detailed version of that. And so that way you can actually see based on department, how that breaks down for a department. So it's one thing to know that, for example, general fund, we've expended 14.1% of our expenses budget versus actual, which is good, which is under the 16 or so percent that we're looking at. But it's one thing to know that and then to go in and see one department spent 40% of their expenses and one spent 2%, that sort of a thing. So just more of an FYI than anything. Just looking through, everything looks.
So this got a link, is that what it does?
Yep, so if you click on,
The monthly financial,
This first one, yeah, it's not allowing us to.
I don't see it at all.
I'm gonna put it in your.
yeah. it's
As
not-
far as
it's
your
not
links on the
the
monthly
clicking.
financials, now the stuff farther down, which is actually
the detailed
going
report.
detailed, going through the end of last year.
Oh, yeah, and don't worry about the other pages. That's,
That's all 22.
yeah, 22 stuff.
So
But those links on the first page aren't working.
they are not.
Okay. They work for you, Jonathan? Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm actually putting it in their packets.
Okay,
it did work for you.
Uh-huh.
and I'll have these ahead of time next month. I had some technical issues with it this month, so.
You have a second sheet of the agenda too.
Mhm.
And you're talking about your revenue expense
Only got
report,
one.
that's what I'm looking at now.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, Kevin's got a second sheet.
That's
Maybe
the
that's where
two-page
it was.
one.
Yes, okay.
No, I just gave you mine.
Oh, I thought you had two.
So it sounds like that's in your folder now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to refresh on the Google Doc, but it's there.
Yep, so down at the bottom, I'm gonna rename them. And rename, so it's gonna be.
So you're, for example, the Conservation Trust Fund,
Mhm,
there's 2 lines there.
correct. Top is revenue,
Oh,
bottom is expense.
I see it, sorry,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, we'll get that. CTF quarterly, I think.
Right. Yep. Yeah, so looking through everything looks pretty normal, or what's to be expected. I guess the only one that I've not looked into too much, but I know lodging and tourism had some grants and things coming in and going out, so I think that's what explains the 43 and 44% there. Is there's some large chunks coming and
Where are
going
you
quickly.
looking?
That's the revenue and expense report. It's a
I
2-page
got
report.
it.
And so down to 55 is lodging and tourism.
Okay. 43 and 44.
So that should run at a more expected pace after this, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're amping up for the summer season and like you said, with the grant activity. Yeah,
Right. Any other questions on those?
Not for
Mm.
me.
Only other thing I wanted to share was that we put out an employee satisfaction survey last week. And that is asking a lot of different questions, anything from just basic information to how safe do you feel in your office, cleanliness or physical structure of your workspace, management, health insurance, benefit package, how satisfied people are with that. It also includes 4-day work week information. I know we mentioned, and I think it's been brought up here recently, that we talked about doing a 6-month review of that. And so this will at least provide some data from the employees to say how they're feeling about it. So,
Did you get the anonymity issue fixed?
well, I don't know if there really was too much of an issue.
Because you had it under, you already had it.
Yeah, I've not changed it. Yeah, I was just pointing out the fact that there was places to say prefer not to answer for like department, for example. And to some people's concerns about, if I put what my department is and if I'm a manager, it's easy for you to figure it out. Well, my point there was those two wouldn't be connected. I wouldn't give an answer by answer, it would be summaries.
Right.
And so while it won't necessarily be anonymous in the HR office, we will keep it confidential and it will be presented in a way that keeps people anonymous.
Are those core eligible?
I would imagine. Well,
I'll say it's a personnel thing.
They-
Core, yeah.
the results anyway, the data itself, the raw data, I don't know
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
on that one.
Lawyer question.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I thought your second email explaining that was a good one
Yeah.
to ease people's concerns.
Yeah.
Hey, if we're collecting the data, yes, we will know, but no one else will. It's not like the commissioner's gonna go in there and say, I'd like to see so-and-so's
yeah.
survey.
And there was one suggestion, an email that I had gotten that suggested that maybe the issue was the confidentiality or the anonymity within the HR department. And so I think to maybe get past that, we can look at doing a third party doing that next time we do something like that. So if that's really a concern, if you guys happen to hear anything, and if that's how we want to do things, then we could certainly go that route.
And what I'm really interested in is Vince Cook's
Yeah,
road and bridge, I want to know.
Right.
He's really happy because he's not happy the roads aren't. happy.
exactly. Well, I can get out of this seat and you can ask me.
There's Vince.
That would depend on the time of day, which,
Yeah,
so. Well, and then I talked to you a little bit. Because. The elected officials skew some of those results, but I think you were gonna address that because. When you were asking about the sick leave and vacation time. I don't think any elected official will be happy with the sick leave that they get because we don't get it.
right.
But we're able to take off sick.
Yeah, and I did explain to those that have asked about it. I had thought about that for one of those sections. As far as the managerial side, there's a place to answer if you're an elected official, because you don't have a manager, no sense answering those questions. And I neglected to put the vacation and sick in that same part, so I apologize for that.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, so we'll keep refining it, but
Can you speak to the vacancy announcement for the airport manager?
yeah. So this week and for the next 2 weeks, there'll be an airport manager job posting in the papers, and it's currently online. The reasoning for that is we've been advised by the auditor to that position as it currently stands. Right now, Bob McDonald is a contracted person for the airport manager. The way they described it is essentially in the way that that job is functioning is actually as an employee, not really as a contract. So in order to make things correct there, get ahead of that, we're just creating that as an employed position as opposed to a contract position. The reason that it's in the paper is because that was the advice that I had received from CTSI, is that anytime that something like that were to happen, we should be posting that as a job that's open. So I made Bob McDonald very aware of that before I did that, and again put out that if it's not my hope that or not my intention to make it difficult for him, to stay in that position, that I do hope that he applies for that if he's still interested. But that's why we had to do that, is the auditor's suggestion. The Department of Labor is what he was saying would look at that as an employed person, whether we call them an employee or not. So fixing that, and then the suggestion to get it posted.
And we'll have a hiring committee to look at those applications.
And right now I've got the question to the airport board. The way that that's happened previously for like the recycling board, there was a subcommittee, I guess, of the recycling board that hired Tim Harmon as our recycling manager. And so following those footsteps for the airport board, hoping to get
Yeah,
a
they
couple
discussed
people
that.
represented. And then I'm always happy to help and sit in those interviews as well. So,
Perfect, thank you.
Kind of along those same lines, and forgive me, I'm not real sure on this legislation, but I believe there's some legislation coming down that speaks to something similar to that. It's in regards to advancement for current employees, so if they get it named to a new position or something like that, to where those jobs won't necessarily need to be posted if it's natural, the natural flow of advancement in your job.
okay,
But I've been seeing that, but forgive me, I don't know where that is in the process, but I'm pretty sure that's in the pipeline this year.
okay. So not law yet, but something that. they're
It's in the
looking at.
works.
Okay. Cool. I had not seen anything come in yet, but
Yeah, I thought a very interesting email from the federal level about disability and support animals. That was through, I think it was through a CCI. Reinforcing what the federal government recognizes as a support animal.
you can't bring that peacock on the airplane like.
No.
they
Can't bring
did
a
that
goat.
time, Yeah, Yeah.
Two species are allowable.
Dogs and pigs.
Dogs and miniature horses.
Wow.
Can't see a miniature horse getting on an airplane.
Yeah.
Or coming to work here every day.
Mhm.
We cannot discriminate.
We have to provide hay.
Yeah.
I didn't read it. I decided that if we have that request, we'll study it at
deal
that
with
point,
it.
so, yeah.
Got my horse out here.
Yeah, I had heard in college that there was somebody that had an emotional support hamster for anxiety. And it turned out that the emotional support hamster had died because it was anxious. So I'm glad they tightened up.
Now we gotta deal
the
with Sheila, too.
animals. Yeah,
Thanks for your comedy show. Are you done?
yeah, I think I can get the hook. I'll get out of here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
See
it.
ya.
You're welcome to some breakfast.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thanks, sir. Good job.
Hey, take a muffin with you, Braden. Give it to Lisa. Lisa's working over this.
How are you?
Good.
Morning, sir. Morning.
Well, only question I got for you guys, we're doing that vehicle auction thing.
Yeah.
Since there's so many entities involved, I think maybe you commissioners need to open up the envelopes when that's done. Be the 20th.
Okay, yeah. I think the bigger question is, where are the proceeds gonna go?
I thought we was just gonna send them to the places they come from, Sheriff's Department, Road and Bridge, Airport, landfill.
That's
You've
what
got
keep them
those-
separate.
You've got those earmarked, so we know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. In lieu of not having an attorney, we can, if we can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think because he was asking me about it the other day, and thank you for bringing it up. I forgot to earlier, so. If it was only road and bridge stuff, I think they'd be perfectly fine to do it, but since we have multiple entities, I think it fall on us.
Okay.
Get it on the agenda and do it during a meeting and.
Just open it here.
All right, sounds good to me.
And you can have the honor of opening, Vanna.
It should be done by the 20th.
Okay. So you're in the process of.
Yeah, that
putting
should be in the
out there now.
paper in the paper this week.
People have been asking about it.
Yeah, it's
People
in the
wanted
paper.
it.
We've had some people stop in, so
How many pieces altogether? Do you
I don't have the
know?
list, but
It doesn't matter. I just wondered 6 or.
no, there's like 8, 10 sheriff's vehicles,
Wow.
Couple
2,
airports.
3 landfill with pieces of equipment. 2 road and bridge.
Oh, okay.
You're taking a truck from the airport, aren't you? On it.
Yeah,
Little Junker.
yep.
And if nobody bids on them, we'll just park them and do it again.
I guess
Or go melt them.
scrap's not very high, so
You say what's the ending date for getting a bid in?
20th.
Tuesday.
Will be in the paper.
Yeah, they're in both papers.
Has been already or
It's
just.
done. It'll start this week,
Okay,
end of the week.
good. Well, thanks for doing that.
Online too, is, get her to post them.
Yes, you can, yeah.
Yeah,
I can get it
should.
a list.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can
put it
send
on
me
the
pictures,
website.
I'll do that. You
Pictures, okay.
want me to send something to Sherry?
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then the pressure unit should start this month, hopefully. Should start crushing gravel for road and bridge.
And the landfill pit.
At our pit down south. 30,000 ton. Comes to 135,000. All our crushers.
Glad you got money.
Leaves about 60,000 after they crush.
Didn't take long to burn through it, does it?
No, that's
30,000.
1,200.
Not these gas rates. and
It's
the-
1,200 and it's 1,245 loads of gravel at 25 tons.
Don't worry about what more they got no budget.
You get 6 loads, that's it this year.
Cost of doing business, isn't it?
Somebody sent you a letter about saving money if you oiled X miles, or was it Grape Creek or was it,
Upper Gulch.
Copper Gulch?
Yeah, I gotta call into the guy that does the tack oil. He hasn't called me, email me back with the price of tack oil.
Cause it's sliding out or something, whatever the issue was.
We're gonna work on copper. I one called it today, so it's gonna get a lot of work done. As soon as the weather breaks. It's gonna get new gravel and pull the ditches and fix the culverts again and mag it, remag it, put heavier mag on it.
Did you uncover the culvert that one guy had? Sent you a picture on. Can't remember, I'll have to look at it. I sent you. Buried the both ends of the culvert.
Oh, yeah, I told him that when the frost comes out, they're gonna take care of it. Okay. Yep,
How's your staffing?
fine.
Full?
Yep. No problems.
Good.
Somebody's turning a grader over, huh?
No. We've got one in the shop now. It's a ejector went out. It's on John Deere because they can't seem to get it fixed right. I don't know what's going on. I've got the roller in the shop. It's getting overhauled a little bit, new flywheel. John Deere put the wrong flywheel in way back when. That's before I started. So.
Oh.
And the dozer's in the shop. It needs a little work.
You got, your talk about mechanic priority.
Yeah, I gotta ask you guys, how do you guys want to do the different entities when stuff comes into the maintenance shop? Like sometimes like Road and Bridge needs a piece of equipment. And then the other entities will come in with something and they have to drop what we're doing.
That's your call.
That's my call.
Yes, that's Commissioner Candace take.
That's
I don't know
my
that that's-
take.
That
Because
works,
you're
but that's.
you're the priority, if it is.
But the sheriff vehicle might need that vehicle because I
Well,
know
that's-
they're short on 2 vehicles right now.
But he should tell you that, right? You should know.
I don't disagree. I think as a supervisor, between you and your head mechanic, I think you'd have to develop a priority.
Work with.
I don't think it could be written in stone, because like you say, you could have an emergency need to fix a vehicle, mostly would be the sheriff's, but I think run-of-the-mill stuff would take second seat to more important stuff, but
You know, if you got something on the grease rack, then you had to get it off and, because you need to get it out then.
I mean, I don't see us being that deciding factor, do you?
So I'll just leave it up between me and the head maintenance shop.
Yeah, and I think they're again. In conversations with the entity, I mean, so. If there is a dire need, you guys get together and you can. Work out where that fits in the priority and like general maintenance, they should be able to schedule that out enough to where. you guys know when it's coming in and can make those allowances, and then if something happens that can't happen at that time, you just let them know and
Okay,
things of that nature.
sounds good.
Yeah, I don't see any other reasonable way to approach that. I mean, we have no business being involved in that, so.
Okay,
Common sense should rule the day typically, huh?
be up to me and Scott.
My Dodge is just about ready for service.
Oh, it's private. You can't do that.
It's all the time.
So,
Next thing you know, he'll be wanting you to grade his driveway wet more.
He's got
It's a
chips,
short one.
Yeah, that's just real short.
he's got chip seal.
I'm assuming your mechanic would be part and parcel to that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'll talk to him today.
I don't know, I would assume he'd have an idea of the flow of things in and out of the shop, and if something needed to change, why?
And then this different, but the 3 mechanics are getting trained the 31st of this month for DOT annual inspections. They're gonna take a course at the shop on a Friday. It's a 6 to 8 hour course.
Well,
Costs $225 per person, but they have to have it. So they do the annual inspections on the vehicles.
Good.
So we'll be in compliance there.
does that include the brake adjustment?
nice.
Yep.
Scale of 1 to 10, how's things in the road and bridge world?
Fine.
That wasn't a 1 to 10.
Not even close.
Yeah,
His fine's a 10.
Yep, I don't have no problems.
Good, glad to hear it.
Everybody works hard.
Good. Well, I'm not aware of any disastrous road conditions, so I certainly haven't been informed by any of the citizens of it. I have had a couple comments. One yesterday that gentleman thought the roads in his general area were as good in the last 2 years as they've been since he's been there, so.
It's good.
You still got a pothole crew running around?
Yep.
Good, because get a few calls, but there's a few.
Don't have any
Getting
pothole pads
exposed.
right now because the company we get it from are out. I called him yesterday and he don't know when he's gonna get some in. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or next week. So we'll send a truck up and go get it.
I want to publicly thank you for attending the weed board meeting.
Yeah,
I think that will have value as spring and summer comes on, so. Appreciate that.
righty.
Thanks.
Very good, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Yep. Thank you.
On a personal note,
Yep.
looks like you're making progress on your building project at home.
Almost done.
Nice.
2 more days. I'm good.
Wow.
You are looking a little peaked. You're probably not gonna be here tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I called you, like you guys got to take vacation.
Good morning, how are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
got a new shirt.
Thank you.
Reggie's back.
How are you?
Good shirt.
Thank you.
You've been gone?
We have been in a series of conferences
Oh.
over the last couple of weeks, and our last one last week was the 4-H annual 4-H
Found
in
my.
service conference.
Yeah.
So
I've
Caitlin
gone
and
up a
I-
couple times and I've just been missing you.
Yes, it's very busy. We are pretty much working all hours of the day and night, 7 days a week right now, and it'll probably be that way. Definitely through county fair and then on through state fair, and then things will slow back down and.
Well, I did notice your absence toting shotgun shells down in the basement. My gosh, Caitlin, I just couldn't believe it.
Thank you for helping.
I didn't do
that.
much, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. We were trying to get a meeting going and I ran and helped a little bit
Yeah.
for that meeting, but. Oh my
That's what she said. She said it was a tough,
Yeah,
tough
lot of
activity.
ammunition.
Getting her exercise at, yes, shooting sports is huge.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at your report, but we had 2 shooting sports safety briefings. And we had over 23 families. We have 30-ish families that are doing shooting sports, so much so that Caitlin and I are both going to get certified next weekend in different disciplines so that we can cover all the different shooting sports. We have 2 new volunteers, or actually 5 of us going to get certified on that weekend so that we can run our shooting sports programs. Excellent. And so, yeah, and so our ARPA the funds we got through ARPA allowed us to get, the things that we needed for those programs. So we're very grateful for that. So do you guys have any specific questions for me based on my report, or would you like me just to?
Just how are the chickens in the county, in the state? Are we
Yeah.
ever gonna get out of?
I don't know if we're
Big
ever
problem.
going to get out from under the HPAI. That's the highly pathogenic avian influenza. We meaning our state vets thought we would be well past it by now, and we are not.
Well, how bad is it? Is there many chickens in trouble, or is it, Wood County doesn't have any that I know?
We're okay. It's being transmitted by wild birds, and there are hundreds of thousands of birds that have had to be destroyed, as you see at the grocery store with your
Yeah.
increased prices in poultry and eggs,
Eggs.
especially. So, yeah, so it has been ugly, especially in the northeastern part of the state. I understand they have really got hit hard. But yeah, it's a real, and hopefully it is not as widespread as it was, but it's still out there and it's still transmitting. So we are being as cautious as we can be, and decided, in consultation with the fair board, that we would just, kids that have poultry at home, they can still do that and complete it as their 4-H project. They just cannot bring their animals to the fairgrounds for the fair. So they can do videos or pictures or posters or whatever they'd like to.
Makes it a little more difficult on both sides of that than
Right, yeah.
both for the
Yeah.
kids and for the judges and.
Yeah, and the kids, they put so much work into it, and they love their
So are the
animals.
judges gonna roam the homes?
Well,
Make it and judge
the
them?
kids have
Yeah,
until the
right.
end of April to decide what they want to do with that project, if they want to continue to do poultry, if they want to choose something else for their state
But
fair
they could go
project.
ahead and do that and have them judged at home.
They could. Then the judges can just judge their board and their record
Sure.
book. So their
Just-
record
just
book
let
is the
them
only thing that
compete.
really has to be
Give
completed
them
and
something
judged.
to aim for.
Yes, definitely.
Where is Golden Bell? What is that?
It's a conference resort center up near Denver. It's
Oh.
where they hold the retreat. As far as I know, the last several years it has been there, and they have adequate facilities to host large groups of kids and adults. So our theme is Go Wild with 4-H. We're going to be talking about wildlife and wildfire and those kinds of things, and help kids have a better understanding and appreciation of that environment. So that's our theme. And thank you all for your help with the broadband initiative. It's really exciting to be able to have CSU's resources to help us maximize that. They're going to map our county at no charge to us, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and I asked that question earlier this morning. What's CSU gonna do? And it sounds like this mapping thing is.
Right. And then they have a ton of expertise in writing grants. So when we get to that point, if our group, they are happy to help in that process and to help us secure those funds.
Yeah, you saw it and you're involved in all that.
Mhm.
From the email that
Yeah.
both
Just
Skid
I'm just trying
Skid
to
and you
make-
guys are gonna be helping grants and other things.
Yeah, they have a lot of resources, and they don't want to take over what has been done to this point. Their goal is to simply complement what we're doing and assist where we need it.
They need help spending the money is what I read.
Yeah, right. Well,
We got a lot of
it's
extra
too,
Well, that's good.
People can do, CSU is an educational institution too, and people have access to online, capabilities, can
Yeah.
access those resources, and it's
Yeah.
good for everyone, helps everyone. So I think it's good. It's good for them.
Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention and
Yeah.
and reminding us there early on to make sure that we didn't just say, okay, fine, and forget about it.
Right. No, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad everybody worked very quickly, and we all got on some Zoom calls, and it was good. It worked. It flowed very nicely. So I'm very excited. And those funds are limited. So the fact that we were able to get in right at the beginning is great. That makes us more likely to get some of those funds.
Yeah.
So it's good. Good. So,
And our next weed board's the 21st of March. If we were able to attend that. I think we need to finish hammering out the details of the grant matching money for private landowners. We had a guy in here yesterday wanting to know about that. So,
okay.
Got anything for us? Want a pay raise or anything?
I'm not.
Not
no,
yet? It's
I'm
not-
good. I'm good. Gotta earn my keep first. We'll talk about that.
There
next
you
year.
go.
But it's all good. So we appreciate your support. I did bring you guys for you gentlemen, a copy of the fair board schedule, just in case you wanted it for your own. So that's what the week is gonna look like. It's gonna shape out. We extended it to the Friday before, just because our shooting sports there's so many kids that need to compete that we had to spread it out a little bit.
That's pretty exciting, right?
It's very exciting,
I know
really
our
exciting.
kids way back when. And I was a shooting sports for 1 year, but the support and everything wasn't quite up to what you're showing here now. And that's good.
We're very fortunate to have a lot of the adults in our community that want to help and want to learn and are willing to give their time and resources to get trained. And so we're really.
You know,
fortunate.
if, when I went to CSU, I was on the CSU rifle team.
Oh.
I'm wondering if they still have one, because that would be something for them to aim to, and that's a lot of fun.
That's a great question. I will explore that.
And they did an intramural competition, and they did, countrywide to university competing with each other.
Mhm.
So it's kind of something, if they're really gung ho on it, that kind of shooting, whole bunch different than chasing a deer, but it's really a science.
Yeah.
They got the jackets and they got the rifles and that are specially weighted, and it's a lot of fun.
I did that in ROTC.
Did you?
I remember Major Hahn all the time. He'd be looking through his scope and he said, "Day, isn't there anything else you'd rather do?"
Yeah. As he's dusting the dirt out of the barrel.
For sure.
Uh,
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Yeah, I will check into that. Yeah. All right.
very good.
Reggie, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Did someone get in touch with you about giving away shooting equipment?
I have not been contacted by anyone for that. I'm not sure if Caitlin has, but I have not.
Okay, because I met a couple at TaxAid and he had like 10 things of this shooting equipment that he was looking to give to 4-H.
Oh.
And so I'll follow up with them and just see what the scoop is, because I did give them your contact info.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reggie.
Good day. You're
Good to
welcome.
see you.
Where's he out there?
Okay, planning and zoning.
They have to call it.
I will call a short recess at 10:32. All right, the time is now 10:43, and I will reconvene this Board of County Commissioners meeting. Next up on our agenda will be the planning and zoning. Dorothy, you're up.
Good morning. How are you? Good. How are you? Morning.
Morning.
You're back.
Good morning. I'm here. Yeah. Don't have a lot today. Just my normal monthly report and a couple other little questions or items. We are running quite a similar this year as last year. If you go through the number of permits, septic permits, there's the feedback from the contractors is that they're not running into permafrost at all. So they're just they're going right along.
They're dry.
Yeah.
Sad statement.
It is bad. It is dry.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, huh? Our dwellings are up a few and down on the non-dwelling, so our total zoning permits were one up from last year. If we flip over to the income, the increase in our fees, I believe that and a couple of the dwellings being very, very large has really increased, shown an increase in our overall zoning permit fees. We're right about the same on our septics. The use tax is up to 17,941.
Pueblo was you getting it before.
So our overall income compared to last year, we were at 28,418. We're up to 61,088. So happy to see that.
Very good.
I think so far March is probably going to look even a little bit better than that. Any questions on that part of it?
Nope, I'm good.
Good here.
We had our workshop with the planning commission, just a little update on that. We thought we were gonna be able to zoom right through it because we met ahead of time with a few of us, Keith, myself, and Mary. But we did kind of run into a few snags. We didn't get quite through it as quickly as we thought we would. We had about a 3-hour workshop the first time and thought that we could then do it via email, but there's been some other things that have come up, such as whether we're going to allow breezeways. And there's differing opinions in regards to that. Now the amount of containers popping up on the valley floor and other places, I think is a concern, and how we address that. Do we make it so that they have, I don't know. They're in conversation.
You have to paint them anyway, right?
Correct, yeah.
A lot of them aren't, but
There's just a lot of them coming up, so.
And was your workshop to discuss changes and revising the zoning resolution? Okay.
Correct, and it's kind of evolved into a little bit more than that, so.
so what's the plan? You're gonna come back? They got a plan to continue or?
Yes, that came up this morning in the email chain, so I'm gonna try to get with Keith and Mary and see if we can't schedule another follow-up so we can address a couple of the things. There's one other thing that I'd like to bring up in regards to the changes. We had talked about setting some criteria for renewals for the STRs. And I think we kind of flew right over that and didn't really discuss that. And I'd like to bring that up. So there's a couple things that we want to go back and address, or at least talk about.
And while you're on that, if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
I wonder if there should be a conversation about the cap on short-term rentals. I helped Jackie develop that language, and somehow it just got by me that those caps are going to restart every year. Over the next couple of years, it's not a big deal, but if you look over the next 20 years, how many more short-term rentals would be allowed? We have 7 eligible slots every year.
8.
That one of the things you're gonna look at?
Well,
Have they
I
discussed
don't
that?
think so.
They haven't
That's why I'm
talked
bringing
about
it
the
up.
cap.
Yeah.
But we can,
Do we think that's something that they should revisit or not? Are you guys concerned about that? 20 years, that'd be 160 more short-term rentals.
I'm not worried right now.
Well, I'm not either because it's 80 year, but it's the compounding thing over a number of years because I'm convinced every short-term rental is one less a long-term rental or new sale or a sale that could come on the market.
I think we still gotta see what the turnover is, though, really, because there are gonna be people not doing it. Or going out of business, I don't know.
So far, we haven't lost.
Right now, but it's been going for 1 year.
Right. I think my concern is just as much, we have double the amount of, if we consider what we've learned here and there, there's the potential that we have twice as many STRs out there than we think we do. And there's no way to control that in my environment right now. I cannot keep up with that. I'd be really honest.
Say that again.
So if the research that has been done so far, if it is true, which I have reason to believe that it is, we have twice as many STRs out there than what we think we do.
Than what we have permitted for sure, right?
And I know there's quite a few. There may not be double, but it's close.
So how are we gonna prove that? How do we,
I think we do need to consider
what are you using to base that on?
Information from a company that people have been looking into, so.
Company meaning STR?
Yes,
Bed and breakfast.
yeah,
companies?
and I can't think of what it's called. Do you remember what it's called?
The name escapes me right
yeah.
now. The company that tracks.
No, actually Deb Adams was looking into it from a tourist.
Deb's got it.
Is Deb on?
I would ask.
It's
If,
called
with that.
Granicus.
Granicus, yes. And I
Thank you.
sat in on a few of the calls with her. I do think that there's some benefit for that. Using that system, if we could get it with a grant, pay for it with a grant, I don't think that we have the money to pay for it, at least from my department right now.
What did they do?
They basically scrub websites, and I know I didn't hear every call. So the part that I was most interested in and listened to was that they basically scrub, say, Airbnbs. There's a lot more sites out there that you can advertise an STR on than just VRBO and Airbnb. So they scrub, say, 150 different websites for us, and then they come back and say, these are the addresses of the places that are operating as an STR in your area. Then I can match that list up to our list and address them.
How much did it cost?
Deb, do you have a price on that?
6,000.
Yes, so it is for address identification, and just to clarify what Dorothy said, they scan over 100 platforms where 74 are relevant. And for address identification with a 1-year contract, it's $6,903. And there is a grant available from SIPA that opens up in June.
So that's something to consider at some point if we think
Yeah.
it's the right thing to do.
I really
You
think
wanna
we
put
need to.
together a proposal for us
Yep.
to look at it sometime. We can't work
Absolutely.
it here now.
Absolutely, I can do that. And another note, do we,
Yeah.
anything
go ahead,
else on that?
Move on.
Okay. I would like to kind of get an idea, if you guys can answer, when we're looking at having an attorney, and I'll tell you why. I have multiple situations that I'm gonna need some assistance on. Not more so from a cease and desist situation. I have reason to believe that one business has, since it was not allowed, has moved onto the property of another smaller business that we were working with. I drove by there this morning and it is in full operation, a full operating sawmill at large scale.
You're not talking about short-term rentals, this is something different.
Yeah, we were at a short.
Yeah, I went on to something else.
Fine.
So you got need for an attorney.
Yeah, and there's
we-
multiple other
Right.
little issues. That's probably my biggest one right now. But a lot of things like that where I've sent out letters, it's to the point where, and I can go cease and desist them. But I don't believe that that's gonna stop the situation. I believe it's gonna take putting a list pendants on the property in order for that to be handled.
What part of the county?
It is in Cottonwood Springs Ranch.
So to answer your question, we're working to get a county attorney, but that's gonna take a couple months, probably, who knows? But
So then I
Yeah.
just need to figure out.
the other issue is we can get a part-time attorney, depending on how quick we need to do that. We're gonna have to ask a couple neighboring counties for some help possibly, or
Okay.
somebody else to volunteer.
And I guess my first step will be to try to address it. I've already tried addressing this situation. I will go for it again and see where I can go from there. If I guess my next step would be to involve the sheriff to go with me to cease the operation. So,
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. Can we do a cease and desist without an attorney? That would be the number one question. I agree. If you do that, certainly law enforcement needs to be involved. I also wonder if we could authorize Dorothy to secure some legal representation on an as-needed basis until we get an attorney.
Well, that's our job.
Yeah.
Because she works for us and I think that's the right thing to do. We would have to find them. We got some names of people that might be interested, but if it's quickly needed, we'd have to get on it right now.
yeah. I guess my suggestion is if it's 2 months down the road, let me try to handle this particular one. The rest of them, I can just keep a rolling list. And when we do get our attorney decided, hired, then I can hopefully spend a good chunk of time with them to start out with.
Have we posted anything officially? You know,
Thought we were going down that. Didn't post anything for the attorney yet.
Did you check with HR and find out on that? If it has been posted?
I think your estimate of 2 months is realistic. I'd like to think we could get one in a month, but
Yeah,
you
no
know,
way.
it's hard to say.
Okay.
My point, Bill, was should we consider authorizing Dorothy to get an attorney if and when she needs one?
And sure, why wouldn't?
Yeah,
Well,
and I think she could vet. I would be comfortable with her vetting one to see if they are willing to do.
Your comment was that's our job.
Well,
I'm
that's what I
saying,
meant.
can we authorize her to do that? On behalf, when she needs it to get something done. Case in point, if she thinks she needs to issue a cease and desist. My thinking is that we should authorize her to get an attorney to help her do that.
And I'm comfortable doing the cease and desist. I had started doing those when Clint was, becoming more ill and working with him.
I think you're
So
looking
I
at a
have
step
enough.
beyond that, because if they don't, and there's issues, then they
Exactly.
need a real legal letter saying that here's what we need to do.
Yeah. And the
So-
list pendants that him and I used in the past was very, very useful. I have an example of one that would fit this situation almost perfectly.
Right.
But I don't know the process or the steps to take that and file it.
And yeah, that's,
So I think. My thought would be for you to go ahead and move forward with the cease and desist. Part of that, you could tell them your next step is to file that might.
Yeah.
Jog the new landowner where this guy moved in to say, hey, wait a minute.
Sure.
So let that be known, and then I would be comfortable authorizing her to do that. I don't think I would do it for all of the situations, like
No.
I said, just
Right.
the
Right.
most emergent.
That needs a,
And then that you could kind of vet to make sure that they're gonna be able to do what it is that you're needing them to do.
Yeah, Okay,
So that would be my thought on that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, if she need to reach out to an attorney and say, hey, can you represent me on this one specific issue? Here's what I think we need to do, and give them the paperwork or whatever. I just don't think we need to go through all the hoops to hire an attorney to do that one job, when
No.
she probably wouldn't.
We need somebody that's willing to do. Actually, we need to go through the hoop, I think, to find somebody that's willing to work part-time for the county, for all issues, not just that.
right.
We can do that in the background.
And I
So do
definitely
you have
would,
anybody you would go leap into? Do you know who to call?
no,
you got
but I could
no.
do some homework.
Okay, so. Until you do, I mean, we can give you some suggestions, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, I'm open to suggestions.
Anything else?
That's it. Do you guys have anything for me?
No, you don't know when they're gonna meet again, planning commission, to continue the revision of the.
No, because the need kind of just popped up in the last day. But I'll get with Keith and see when he wants to schedule it. I'd like it to be sooner than later because, it's all fresh and it's all in the email chains. We all know what our concerns are.
Well, I would like for you to carry a message to them and ask them to at least revisit the cap thing, and if they're fine with it. Okay,
Okay.
but we kind of just stuck that in there, and
So would you, it'd be pretty quick by the mid-month. But if you feel that you do need to get someone by the mid-month or something, if you could let us know in enough time to maybe put that on the agenda.
I will let you
It's
know.
only a week away.
Yeah, that's.
Well, that means I need
If that's
to go
not,
make a
you know,
phone call to the
If you're
sheriff.
not able to do it by then, or if you don't have the need by then, we can look at it for the end of the month.
Okay, I can definitely try to do that.
Okay,
Okay,
because I know the cease and desist, it'll take
Takes a while.
you gotta get it out, and then you gotta see if they're gonna follow. orders or
That'd take a
whatever,
couple
so.
weeks.
I've already pretty much sent them one. It was kind of an informal one just from me. And then we thought everything was gonna move in the right direction. And then they didn't finish their paperwork. And now when I went out to do a septic inspection, I noticed even additional violations. So there's where I'm kind of at with that. So now I kind of just need to pull out another letter and I can reference to that one and kind of go from there.
Sure.
They've had ample warning.
I have a question for Dorothy.
Yes.
Dorothy, I'm wondering if the planning commission is looking at any type of consideration about light pollution in Custer County and the Wet Mountain Valley, because I know it was taken out a few years ago, but I have received I have had many conversations with people concerned about new people moving into the valley, many of them from metropolitan areas who believe that lights protect them, and they are lighting up their property without any concern for the neighbors as well as preserving our dark skies. So I'm just wondering if that is an issue that's being looked at by the Planning Commission.
And it is not, Deb, but I will bring it up to them again. I do have plans to make that verbiage about light pollution or that portion about light pollution a little bit more prominent in the homeowner's guide.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't we have statements that says we do that? And
We do.
And that the fact is, I think the dark skies people will buy the equipment to make it their lights in the yard compliant.
And we have some verbiage like that. In my opinion, people are looking at the homeowner's guide, but it's so large, and instead of referencing different sections or going to a different website, such as the National Forest Service could
Maybe,
give us more information on, fire mitigation. We have a whole bunch of information in there, and I just don't think people are reading it.
right.
They're going through to find what they want.
Is unique, maybe that talk to planning commission that how would they highlight that in the document, and then you, when you bring people in to get a permit, can put something in there too. But I did talk to the dark skies president. He just brought that up a couple of weeks ago. about it, and he said, again, he stopped the table, you know, put down, hammer the table, they'll be willing to make sure they get the bulbs and the covers or the shades and all that.
Okay.
That people need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
He said, he even referenced a new building that was out toward the bottom of the valley, toward the north. And it was bright because they hadn't done that yet, and they're willing to go out and talk to them. To see, maybe there's a partnership you can make.
And I've been talking to him,
Can
not the president, but
talk to him.
can't think of the gentleman that I've been
Chuck
talking about.
Yago is the president. He lives right over there, just
Okay.
one block kitty corner that way.
I've been talking to him. You know, is there a place in the resolution for that? I think that's up to the planning commission.
Sure it is, but my point is you can
and-
get them together, and if there's a way to get it to where it's prominent, that would be a good thing.
I think anything we can do will help.
Sure.
So we'll do that.
And I know that what happened in 2018 or 2019 when Dark Skies tried to make Custer County a dark sky reserve, and the opponents about not telling me what to do. So I know that we don't want more government overreach, but just a strong recommendation that if you're moving into Custer County, you are moving into a county that wants to preserve the night. And so it's not necessarily demanding that they do it, but trying to recommend. And the feedback I've been getting from people is that a lot of new people moving in, and many of them have money, and they just think that it's not their neighbor's right to tell them what to do, yet they impact everyone around them. And in honor of Clint Smith, who was quite the dark sky proponent, you know, if we don't protect what we have, we lose it, and then we don't get it back. So I don't know if there can be a campaign, and Bill, I know you've been talking to Chuck about this, but it is definitely a concern that I have. We've experienced it ourselves, and it was just a matter of educating the new neighbor about lights, because people from metropolitan areas do think that lighting protects them from burglars. The other thing I want to mention about the short-term rental, just so you are aware, I know Tom sat in on the Granicus presentation, but according to Granicus and their scroll through the platforms, it is showing that unincorporated Custer County has 81 short-term rentals, where I believe we have permits for 40 something, and they show a 14% growth in the past year. And then some interesting numbers for you to just be aware of, which does show the growth, is that in 2018, there were 56 short-term rentals. In 2019, there were 74. And then when COVID hit in October of 2020, they showed 134. I also just want to make note, it seems like we like to blame short-term rentals on the housing situation, but keep in mind that Custer County is a second home haven, and 47% of developed properties are second homes.
Thank you, Deb. I appreciate all your input, but if we could, maybe if you could make some notes, and then if you wanted to come back in on public comment again, that would be great. So we can go ahead and move forward with our reports.
Okay, Kevin, but I want to maybe suggest to you and Bill, if it's still available, to look at the Granicus presentation. It really would give you the information that you need. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See ya,
you.
thanks.
We'll see you. And so we do not have anybody from the airport, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did they send over?
Yeah, it's in the pack.
Okay, got it.
Let's see here. I think I would add that he didn't include was, they collected for the leases out there. They total of $2,028.
Okay. I'm still waiting on the electrical on that tank, huh?
Yeah, and it's, all they're waiting for is, inspections, basically. They got it all in now, and they're gonna do the test as soon as they get the switch turned on. And they got an inspector lined up. And that's all I have that was different than what he had.
All right. Any questions from you, Tom?
No, sir.
Okay.
Brian's in the hall.
Let's go ahead and move on to landfill then. Brian, you'll be up.
Well, one other thing, the AWAS antenna, was broken and they got a new one and they're installing it. It was paid for by the maintenance contract that we had.
Early.
There he is. Hey, Brian.
They're kind of be shooting back and forth between early and late.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, no.
We hope the average is on time, right?
So far it is.
If you take the mean, I think we're good.
I thought you were taking a recess.
So.
No,
We can if you want.
Oh, no, that's all right. How we doing?
good,
Good.
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 Well, we were scheduled to take a recess, you're right,
Oh,
but
that's all right.
one little earlier, so.
Oh, okay. I don't have too much, just the same old. Everything's running as normal. Still trying to get a hold of the state. And I emailed the engineer as well. Copied him on that email for the state. Maybe get some pressure from them too. And then I also emailed him about the financial assurance. Because we started filling that trench G in last year. 2022's financial assurance will have to show either just that trench or all three of the trenches, the expansion trenches. So what that means is we have to get the calculations for how much volume of trash. And then,
So where do you show that? What do you mean?
so the engineers still know that.
Okay.
You have to know how much volume of trash all three trenches will hold. Plus you have to estimate the cost it'll take to close those trenches. And add it to, I think it's like 770 some thousand for the existing landfill that's what we're closing. So that's a closure cost plus what it costs to manage once it's closed. Monitor the wells and all that kind of stuff for however long the regulations say you have to do it, which I don't know off the top of my head. So hopefully,
Which will change after you close.
probably, yeah. Well, hopefully we won't close.
Yeah.
Right, hopefully that won't happen for another 30 years. But you still have to get, in case something were to happen to the county has to have that money,
Sure.
to close.
You have to have it,
You have to have it, yeah.
close it out.
So I emailed the engineer and hopefully I'll get with him. The financial assurance isn't due till around like October. Once the budget, or not the budget, but the audit report comes from the county. It'll be in there too. So we got to get all that to Sam whenever he needs it, July. So other than that, things are about the same.
Wind's been shutting you down a little bit, huh?
Yeah, we closed yesterday at 2. But that's been it since I think last
Week you did too. didn't you?
last 2 weeks ago Saturday or a week ago Saturday. I don't remember now. But it's been pretty windy.
And it-
It's a part of it.
What happened when you
Shakes
shake
the
the
crack.
hill like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why there are no trees, Seeds blow right over.
Update on the loader, new loader.
I talked to Chad Parker. That was like a month and a half ago, whatever. He said factory delivery date, April 26th, which I don't know exactly what that means.
If that means they get it or it's done at the factory, I mean, I don't know. So sooner than I thought,
Maybe before summer,
maybe for summer, yeah.
Would you say that date was?
huh?
April 26th. Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully
And you're staffed?
staffed, yeah, fully staffed. Yeah, 2 operators, myself, James. And that's it because of Custer County Recycles is now Custer County Recycles. Yeah,
So I had this conversation with Braden yesterday. I'm not questioning his answer. I just want to follow up. All of your employees are on salary, not by the hour, correct?
that's a good question, and my answer to that would be, we are hourly, but we never go past a 40-hour work week. And so it's not like Road and Bridge where, you're out, you're getting overtime. So I don't really know the actual answer to that, if how they
Yeah.
want to look at that and say, actually, probably salary or actually higher.
Braden indicated to me that the landfill employees were
Right.
salary.
According to Time Clock Plus, we do not enter anything in Time Clock Plus, meaning that we go off of the salary base
Right.
that we work.
You are salary, that's what I mean.
Right. So it's an hourly, but then it's salary. I mean, I would say
So
salary.
you're working a 40-hour week.
Yeah, it's like 40 and a half or 41, whatever it is, but yeah.
If you have to close and your employees end up working 36 hours, they're still gonna get paid.
Yeah,
their full
correct.
rate because they're on salary.
Or vice versa, if they had to go out there and fix a bunch of stuff.
Correct.
You don't get paid extra.
No. Right. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Good. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You see me
Get that new
out
loader, you
there?
can put it in the parade and run it down the street.
Yeah.
You keep an eye on the recycle bunch out there, so
Yeah, I'm
it's totally out of
I'm
control.
gonna sit through his report too, just.
Hold his feet to the fire.
Yeah, it's the.
Sure.
To see how it's
Give
done,
it
yeah,
accurate
you can learn.
So were there intergovernmental relations here, or did you guys do separate?
Are you?
Good, good.
Good to see everybody.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see, did we get a copy of your report?
We did.
Yes. Oh, no, that's landfill. I opened the wrong one.
You
Sorry.
spared no expense on ink.
2 whole pages. Anything in particular you want to touch on?
Everything is pretty much proceeded as normal since the last report. I would like to mention that Steve that we hired in January is doing a fantastic job. I can't say enough about what he's done. Let's see. We've added some half-size cages out there that were very necessary to handle the mixed paper. They're able to handle the weight a lot better, and so that's actually been a big thing for us.
That was kind of a learning process, huh?
It is, and it continues to be a little bit, but we're really getting there. Let me see. We had a 6-month report due to the state that we submitted at the end of the year that was approved on January 24th. Recently notified that we are receiving a $5,000 grant through the Department of Local Affairs and the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments. And this is going to be utilized on the cardboard barn for the roof. We had a volunteer appreciation event that was organized by Joni Liebman that went extremely well. Had a great exchange of ideas and were able to answer questions So that went well. And then right now, we're just continuing to work on safety and training program there. And that's about it for the summary of operations. Let's see on baling statistics. Cardboard, we produced 11 bales in February. We do have a pending sale on that. We're waiting for the financial paperwork to go through finance, and once that occurs, that will enable them to make direct payment to the county. Once that is completed, then we will move forward on that. And they will be removing or they will be purchasing all the bales that we have out there, which I believe is between 64 and 66 right now.
Closest place to ship them is Lawton. That's hard.
Lawton seems to be the popular spot right now. I think that's where everything went last year, and that's where it continues to go. So aluminum, we produced 2 bales this past month. Recently had a sale on March 3rd. All the bales were sold to Denisio Metal and Iron in Pueblo at 60 cents a pound. The county received $3,349.20 in revenue. Steel, we have 3 bales on hand at the facility, and Denisio has offered to buy those at 6 cents per pound. So that would produce $225 in revenue. We can also ship aluminum with the steel, transport it to them, and they will purchase both. Kind of waiting on that a little bit, since we only have the three bales at this time. Let's see, mixed paper, we produced 5 in February. I believe we have 16 bales on hand. Those are within shipment containers. They produce. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
That metal, 1,200 pounds, are they gonna pick it up?
No, that it would require for pickup, it would require 28 to 33 bales
Right.
to fill a semi trailer.
So,
But Denisio will purchase less than that, but we do have to transport to
yeah,
them
and I
in
don't
Pueblo.
think right now, I mean, at 0.06, that's.
Right.
That ain't even paid a gas. to
Right,
get down there.
correct. So that
It's
is,
gonna sit there.
that is on hold.
Okay, that's one, that sounded like you were moving now.
Right. Let's see, on the mixed paper, I just wanted to mention that on mixed paper, that does contain paperboard, which is utilized in a specific type of insulation manufacturer. And what we're trying to do is find somebody in state to purchase that. So that's what I'm actively pursuing now. And then just the volunteer statistics, we've had, I believe we have approximately 25 volunteers right now. 16 have been active. The total volunteer hours is 61 for February. And I believe that's all I have right now.
Chairman, if I may, I just want to reemphasize a point for the public that the cardboard is corrugated cardboard only. Everything else goes into mixed paper. So I've had numerous people ask me about that. And so I keep trying to get that message out there that that's changed in the last 30 days or 45 days.
Right.
And that's why you see such an increase in mixed paper, because now non-corrugated cardboard is also included in mixed paper. So
that is correct.
Yeah.
So as are the mixed paper, so all newspaper, there's no such thing as paper.
It includes everything.
It's everything except cardboard.
Packing
That's what I'm hearing.
paper, the brown packing paper,
Oh, really? That too?
mail envelopes, office paper, construction paper.
magazines, if it's not corrugated, it's mixed paper.
Right.
And then I think there was a comment made the other day, so cardboard or paper, either one needs to be clean. So I comment was made about pizza boxes because of the
Right.
grease and oil and
We do not take those.
so those are still a landfill item.
They are.
And currently they're sorting that stuff out by hand as they
Yes.
feed the baler, so it's pretty labor intensive. We'd be in trouble without those volunteers.
Absolutely.
Couldn't function. It's amazing, so.
You're not that good, huh?
Tim just walks around and points and stuff. I've never seen him
right.
bend over.
Oh, man.
Not doing a great job out there. Tim. I probably don't say this enough. I'm amazed every time I go out there how clean that building is. I mean, you just could eat off of that floor.
Right.
For a recycling facility, that's just unheard of. So we're lucky that we don't get a lot of liquid stuff in there to
Yes.
contaminate.
Oh,
that,
yes.
you know.
Oh, yes. And we haven't had any more dead chickens. We had a dead chicken one time, but,
You guys have done a great job out there.
yeah,
Piece of cardboard you can get out.
Yeah. yeah.
So,
So it's going well.
good. Do you have an empty cage now?
We do.
Okay.
We
Is
do
it
have-
outside?
I believe it's still within the facility. I haven't been there this morning, but Steve's there, so I'm not sure if he's moved it outside or not,
I
but.
will come get that this afternoon.
Oh, okay, we'll have it ready for you.
Thank you. Are you going out today or not?
I am,
Oh,
yes,
so if you'll mention that.
yes, absolutely.
If we get done here, I'll go home and pick up the trailer.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay.
Good.
You got us on schedule, thanks.
I'm sorry.
You made it
Oh,
make schedule.
Oh, yes.
Well, very good. Continue on our behalf to thank those volunteers.
Oh, absolutely. No, they're huge part.
Yeah,
So-
seriously committed to that. So, well, thank you, sir.
Well, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. See you after a while.
Commissioners.
Have fun
Okay.
in the wind. Blowing out there now a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Be surprised if it wasn't.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, you bet, buddy.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Is Laura out there by chance?
I did not see her, no. We've got IT out here.
You can jump in if he wants it, unless Laura's coming.
I can give her a call and let her know. But
Yeah, if you don't mind. And while she's doing that, Jennifer was kind enough to look back. The sched dues are in our budget, and she has sent an email back out because I have been unable to locate that from sched, asking for
Invoice.
an invoice from them.
What was the amount?
Jennifer
Oh,
has
yeah.
reached out to ask, but
Oh.
I was unable to locate my email, so.
I thought you said Jennifer found that, I'm sorry.
She put out a request for that. She found where we had it included in our budget, but we had a placeholder for it, but not an actual dollar number.
She's on the phone, I guess, and Vernon's out here.
We'll do IT.
Let's go ahead and bring Vernon in then, or,
Come on down.
cause she's on the phone now.
yeah, I'm getting a busy signal.
Okay, that's work. Run right on in, sir.
Why don't you scoot on in here?
Hobble. Hobble. Do we dare make you reach over to shake hands?
How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Jordan here today.
Jordan's sick.
There's not a lot of changes from last week, or last month rather. Just these projects are
Moving along.
going and moving along. Good morning, all. Sorry.
No,
This is
catch your breath. take
This is
your time.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Pretzels are no fun.
No. Gives you a new perspective on ADA compliance and whatnot. It's
You want an
interesting
are you,
getting
you
through
want an
doors.
elevator now? Is that what you're trying to
It'd be really hard to put one of those in the OEM office.
do?
Hobbling up those stairs is interesting. So I think we'll hit the first one last. Basically, everything is we're moving forward on the cybersecurity that I mentioned last month. Putting in new computers for the sheriff's office. It's been a challenge the last month because I've been had this fracture since the 8th, so it's been an adventure. The biggest one that we're working with is the Tyler conversion for Fremont Dispatch.
I know the sheriff came in and talked a little bit about it. I was in Fremont for 2 days last week for the onboarding sessions. It's going to be pretty comprehensive. It's going to be pretty amazing system we're going to move to, but it's also a challenge to move us there. We're looking at a complete rebuild of our GIS database infrastructure to give them the data that they need for proper dispatch. We're looking at a cybersecurity infrastructure hosting cyber appliances so that our cars and all of the computers communicate through a specialized hub. So I know he mentioned looking for some grant funding to take care of that, because it's going to be a costly conversion. There's going to be some costs up front, and then there's going to be subscription fees.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that because of the level, it says 1-year project, but the reality is that most of this stuff has to be done within the next month to 2 months. And so I wanted to discuss the possibility of working on Fridays, taking on a little bit more work to make certain that this goes smoothly. Like I said, rebuilding the entire geodatabase for our GIS system, and a lot of cybersecurity and tech work.
So you're thinking 8-hour, 40-hour week again, or?
I'm thinking I'm
Additional
going to work additional, because I can dedicate the time when the phones aren't ringing and there isn't other tech going on, or other tech issues going on. I have some money in contract labor that can cover it for just like 4 weeks or so.
So you get caught up, so interesting.
Well, it's not so much caught up. This is a huge load. This is a bigger load put on.
So you want to do it full time?
Yeah, basically. I'll do my regular work during the week and then work on the conversion on Fridays.
How many hours on Friday are you expecting?
I was looking at 6 to 8 for between 4 to 6 weeks.
Until we get this conversion thing cleared up.
I think that I can get a good handle on it within the next 4 to 6 weeks. And that's when really all the deadlines for my side of things need to be covered.
So rather than having some contractor do it.
Well, bringing them up to speed on our systems and trying to integrate it, that'd be a lot more money too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well,
huge.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing to volunteer to do though.
No, I mean, I can't build my house and I can't go hiking right now. So
I guess you got a point there.
Are you making the best of a bad situation?
I am making the best of a bad situation. So it is really interesting that being on crutches and not being able to go hiking and do my martial arts and whatnot every week, that I can feel everything just tightening up. So I'll be really glad to be out of this boot.
Well, I would move we authorize Vernon to work on Fridays to assist in this transition with this Tyler conversion and pay for that out of his contract.
I'll second. That's the right thing to do.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to authorize Vernon to work on Fridays to facilitate this Tyler conversion. That money to come out of his contract labor line item on his budget. And any further discussion?
Well, I would hope, no way to know, but I would hope we're not gonna get the situation in September or October and need to hire a bunch of contract labor and not have money, so.
I hope not.
we won't
I'll
know.
work very hard to make sure
Yeah.
that doesn't happen.
That's
I usually
all.
turn in that money every year, so.
Well, thank you for being willing to take your Fridays that are normally off and be able to do that. It's more than just the money, actually, when it comes down to it. But you're right, there's not a lot else you could be actively doing. So
Yeah.
I just appreciate that.
I would comment that I've seen some people that are on crutches for quite a while that get very proficient with them.
Yeah, that's true.
6'7" people, or
I can't.
okay.
It is exhausting. And I'll tell you what, I'm amazed. Like I went up to Salida and it had just snowed, and the parking lot is slick and icy and the entranceway is marble. And
Slide.
Wow, how do people deal with this?
That's why they have valet parking.
Exactly, there you go, there you go.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of allowing Vernon to come in on Fridays to facilitate the Tyler conversion, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Any questions for me or the IT department?
Well, I do have, if I may, sir. Mr. Canada informed us this morning that he made arrangements, excuse me, for a site for the air quality monitor station. So apparently,
Dr. Brown called.
Dr. Brown,
And it's already mounted, is what I thought he said, or it was gonna get mounted.
No, it's in my office.
Do you still have it?
I have been in communication with Lunar Outpost, the company that created the device, and they're going to either walk us through setting it up or putting it in
I guess
place.
that's what he said.
Yeah, we are. It's not something that you can just nail to a tree. It's got a module, it's got a solar module, and then it's got a sensing unit that has to be up in the air. So I'm gonna have to facilitate with you or someone to put in a proper mounting post out there, wherever you put it. And
He went out there, it's at Trails End, and you
Okay.
have to get with him to see
All
if it's easily can drive up to it.
Nice, okay.
so I will cancel the.
Yes, I appreciate that. I was gonna give you a call this morning.
He didn't know.
Well, we've been trying to figure out locations. We have some property up north, but it's pretty open range. And so there might be cattle that could, walk
That's
through
what he
it.
said.
We don't want that to happen. We need it fairly isolated and secure.
I suggest you get with Dr. Brown and have him drive you to it.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday evening. So
Oh, you did, so
yes,
you knew that he had it.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'll get it going. I don't know if I can do the mounting right now. So we'll
I
have
don't
to.
think you can. I think there's no if.
Okay, I'm being politically correct here. I'm not going to hobble out and try and mount this onto a 10-foot pole. So, but I mean, usually I would absolutely do that, but we'll figure it out. We'll make something happen. And there are also other this is one type of air quality meter. We have several others that do the triangulation and watch for basically sense smoke and sense directions and whatnot. So it's going to be a project that is in stages, but it's happening.
Sounds like a plan.
I almost wonder if. Yeah, I know Trails End is furnishing the spot. I didn't know if maybe they might have something, a tractor with an auger on it to be able to.
Oh, there you
put a
go.
hole down in the ground to
Uh-huh.
plant that post, but.
They were looking at two places, or
Okay.
you can do that, or you can put it in the tree.
That'd be handy for.
He thinks, no, that's, you gotta look at what that means. So I don't
Okay.
know what that means.
So it has a mounting. It has three parts. It has a solar panel that could theoretically just be mounted anywhere of the south face. It has a module that collects the data and sends it. And then it has the actual sensor module, which actually mounts on a 1-inch pole.
Ah.
And that needs to be up in the air. That should be theoretically 10 feet off the ground.
Ah.
So there's I've been doing a deep dive on these meters, and they're pretty amazing, pretty comprehensive. Just need to get it in place right and get the tech guys to set it up. So.
And I'll bet they'd be happy that if they do have a bucket to get into and
Yeah,
post you up.
there you
they
go.
Probably got an auger at the other end and
Uh-huh.
put a pole in. So I don't
Okay.
know.
Trails End. All right, I'll reach out to him then.
To get with Dr. Brown, because he's got the
Okay.
contact.
All
They
right.
got a new ranch manager now.
Okay.
Rob Canterbury retired
Okay.
end of December, and then and his name is Myron, and I don't remember what his first name is. But
Weren't we just
Dr.
out there on a fire? Trails End? Maybe I'm thinking of a different space.
Yeah, they had their, that was where it was one of their houses now.
Okay.
Or barn or whatever it was.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got a lot of aerial footage of that fire, and the work that they did out there is pretty amazing. I'm glad it didn't blow up more. I mean, we were talking, there's a house there and there's the fire.
Yeah, it was
So,
pretty amazing.
yeah. So our guys do an amazing job.
Anything else, gentlemen?
Kev, well, go ahead, Kev.
I just wanted to say that Vernon's been helping me. Every 10 years after the census, we have to look at the numbers. So the district lines for commissioner districts are based on population numbers and not registered voter numbers. That was supposed to have been done last year, but because they didn't get the census finished in time, because of COVID, that got pushed to September of this year. Obviously, we can't wait till September because we'll be right in the middle of an election. So I'm hoping to have it done July-ish. Vernon's already, he looked at numbers the other day, which I figured the numbers were 9% off.
Okay.
So between the highest number and the lowest number, we can only be 5% off. And so we may have to make some adjustments to those.
And I've been
commissioner
doing,
district lines,
and I've been doing a deep dive on those
those weird
the
little
survey,
spots
the survey
that-
spots, and I think that we're pretty close.
Oh, good,
Yeah, because I was
good.
looking at addresses and population density, and I think we're pretty darn close. So
Okay.
whenever you come over, I can show you the maps that I've created. for you.
Okay.
So,
And then once we get that done, then we'll do a resolution. Hopefully we'll have a county attorney by then. We'll do a resolution that you guys will approve that will set those lines then for the next 10 years.
And I believe we voted to make the commissioner districts and the precinct lines the same, correct?
Well, we did that when we adjusted the precinct lines last year. Yes, we made them the same. We'll have to look at that. If we've got to make some adjustments to the commissioner lines, we'll have to look at that and see if we want to just adjust those precincts again and make them so that we don't have any weird pockets like we did last time. We're gonna try to keep it the same, right, Vernon?
absolutely.
Yes.
Keep it clean if we can.
Yes, we're gonna
Simple.
try to keep it clean.
Okay.
Sure.
So Vernon doesn't know this, but he needs more room in his office.
Really?
So I don't know how we can do that. I haven't really talked to Vernon about this specifically, but I had this thought cross my mind that maybe we should consider leasing or buying a, for lack of a better term, a portable classroom style building and set somewhere and try to get that. We got to do something. It is insane to ask those two gentlemen to work in the space that they're in and try to store their equipment and all that. So I don't know. I keep racking my brain about some alternatives and I've yet to come up with anything decent.
We could move into the garage.
True.
It's better than you got.
Maybe bigger than we
Be a
got.
lot of more room.
Yeah, you'd have a lot of.
Kinda
room
dusty,
there.
but-
The problem is, then what do we do with those vehicles? You know,
Well, the back of the garage.
we could remodel that north half,
These
maybe.
pieces is all we get.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
But I want to keep this on the forefront.
Probably
We
worth
try
thinking
to
about, Tom, because you got Jordan too, and put them both in.
Um,
And that would beg the, I guess. Access to the internet and everything would not be too big an issue.
no, we can beam that pretty easily. We actually have the tech on the building already.
Yeah, I figured that should be one of our least worries is how to get the technology to wherever they end up going. If he can't do that, he can stay where he's at. How's that?
I hear you.
Do you
We are,
think-
what are we having for something like?
Yeah,
that?
yeah, something like that, although. Do you think? A building, another building? It'd be cheaper to go in the north half of that garage, no question about that.
It
but,
definitely would be. I would need some time to think about that.
Yeah,
As soon as I'm back on my foot, I'm looking at some methods of clearing up some. Setting up a server rack in the basement, clearing out some space a little bit to utilize that better, but it is pretty small and it is very difficult to work on big projects in there.
Crazy, so, I don't know, I do kind of like the idea of that garage, although. I don't think Dave utilizes that north half a lot, there's a lot of stuff stored in there, but, I really hadn't even thought about that. Then my only other thing was if we could do a 24 or a 20 to 24 wide by, 30-foot long
Wow.
portable building, set it somewhere, get power, and of course you'd have to have a restroom in it, but I don't know.
No,
I
he'd run
just-
across Stevie because I'm tired of fighting with heaters.
All I know is we need to do something.
I didn't even turn my heater on. Poor Jordan sits there with a little heater next to it. It has to stay cool in here for the computers.
Very weird thought, but what about the basement? Not in your current condition. No,
well-
oh, that's right, elections, never mind.
Well, we've got the
If you take the
elections
basement,
and,
You're gonna have to find someplace to go with elections.
right?
I hope Peggy's not listening. She will be on.
Let me see if she raised her hand or.
Yeah. I think it's something we need to keep grinding away at, and try to come up with some solution there, so.
Well, and I thank you for that.
Yeah. Explore some possibilities
Yeah.
here and see.
Yeah.
It is awful crowded over there.
There's,
I go to walk through.
I
over
will
there
say,
To Braden and Lisa's office and Jordan has to get out of the way.
See, this is our passive aggressive deterrent to keep people from using that as a
Yeah.
hallway.
Trying to tell me something. I have to go out and around.
sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, glad the snow's gone around here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, see you later.
You're gonna get better.
Yeah, thank you.
You found someplace to move him, then you could move, then maybe Braden could actually have an
Office, yeah.
behind the sit in.
busy, I'm gonna.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to check real quick, if not, then we can,
I was gonna ask Virginia if she wants to come in while I go see
okay.
if that works.
I haven't thought about elections being a vacant. And auditor goes down there and they're there for almost a week.
For a couple of weeks.
If it wasn't for the plumbing, I don't think an additional building would be a big deal. And same with the garage, there's no plumbing there either, so. Well, bye, Dolly. Look here. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Virginia.
Here's your one sign.
Do you do plumbing by any chance? Do you do plumbing or?
You don't want me near them.
Yeah.
She's that person.
I could
that they
do
make
it.
The commercials about.
I could do it, but then you wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Anything jump off the page at you, ma'am?
Mm-mm. We are collecting money now. But there's no entities on here because we didn't collect anything in January. And this report will not put, like you don't see the C1, RE2 or Round Mountain or any of those because we didn't collect any money in January for that. We did, but it did get dispersed until the next month. So you're missing a little bit on here, but that's because it's zero amount.
So. As far as you know, I'm looking at line. Account number 19, the landfill expansion.
Mhm.
That is all the money we have. In the general fund for landfill expansion.
As far as I know, actually, we're not supposed to have that because it's in county general. And I guess they wanted it separated out, so we put it
So
there.
they who,
They-
We did,
Mhm.
we asked them to separate that out. It's not really
Found out
general
who
fund.
they
You were wanting to track it.
And that landfill
They-
expansion, the only thing that goes in there, as far as I know, is at the end of the year, they figure it out and then they
Yeah.
put the money in there.
Yeah, I would have assumed we had a lot more working balance there than that, but
How much is in this?
40 grand.
40K even.
Yeah. I
We'll
would've-
pour that money down the first well hole
What
we
did they,
drill.
did they transfer the last time?
Yes.
What was it?
Oh, 14,000? I don't know. I'd have to
No,
look.
it was more than that.
Was it?
I'll look, I can look back and see
Yeah.
what all we've done and see if I can get a total and see if we're close.
I can look at last year's, see what the figure was
Yeah.
last year.
I would have expected that figure to be more than that, based on what I thought we were gonna need. But maybe the reason that it's not as high as I thought, maybe Brian's been spending some of that money.
Well, I don't see
He
any
may have been paying those
expenses out right
engineers
now.
all along.
You would be seeing some expenses. Well, it could have been late, no, earlier than that,
Yeah, I think it was probably before
before
the
this.
1st of January. I don't know.
But he did pay those
At least on the
engineers.
scraper and things of that nature.
Yeah. 40 grand ain't gonna even drill a well, let alone do anything. But nonetheless. You can always get into that contingency fund. You don't care, do you? What's your job again?
Yeah, I don't spend it. I receipt it.
You-
That's my
you've been
job.
Doing a fine job of that lately, I know.
Virginia's collections.
I thought I covered half the general fund just with my recent
It's,
investment into,
Contribution.
yeah, contribution, that's right. Yeah. I would move we accept the treasury report for the month of January.
Second.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to accept the treasurer's report for the month of January. Any further discussion?
You know,
Okay. Those in favor? Aye.
Hi, okay. I'll go ahead.
Motion carries. I was getting ready to ask for opposed here.
okay, kiddo, well.
okay.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Yep, yep.
Good job.
See you later.
Laura, you are up. Did we drag you off of a phone call?
Wasn't on the phone. Nobody was on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
know.
busy.
Oh,
Just
where's that
broken.
IT guy? We should have.
I don't know what the deal is.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I don't know what the deal is with it. I was saying that this gal, we're sitting there and the phone is not ringing and we noticed that we have a missed call. Because it's blinking, telling us that you have a
Better
missed call.
check with Vernon and get.
And
it.
so, yeah, but the problem is, it says on there, I don't know, something about you can leave a message, press 9. So if they press 9, I think it's
Yeah.
going to that and it's not ringing into our office.
That's probably.
Then people also call that other phone number, whatever that thing is, which causes some issues. And then this morning I'm on the phone with this guy about a problem I'm having and he goes, now your phone number is, and gives me the other phone number. No, this is our phone number. It's that, what is that number? 2407 or
Weird.
I don't know. But anyhow, I don't know why she couldn't get a hold of us. Nobody was on the phone. So. But I do need, Kevin, I need 2 checks signed. These are handwritten for our community service block grant for emergency assistance. So if you would sign those for me, please. And then I'll give them to Miss Kelly over here. Isn't that nice? Very nice. I know, there's a little sick name on it.
Little syrupy, all right.
Just, yeah, just,
Especially when I hear you two talking in the hall.
yeah, well, you know. That's all I
We're
got.
very professional.
We are very professional, especially in the hall.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't compare those two signatures, they won't match.
well, okay, it's all right with me. I don't care. I don't care at all.
See if they catch it at the bank.
See, at least they're getting them signed today.
Yes.
And at least they'll have
At
a
least
signature.
they'll have a signature on them, so hey,
Back to
I
our
think we're
earlier
doing well.
conversation, right?
I think we're doing well. Okay, while we're signing stuff. This is my, oh, I sent that to you for the county attorney's,
Yes.
okay,
Legal service.
legal services. So I need these signed.
There are
There's,
2 signature pages. in the
yes,
packet.
yes,
I thought I
because one's for child support and one's for child welfare. So there are 2 signatures.
saw- And the second one, I believe, requires 3 signatures.
It does, it
And I
right
know
here.
Mr. Chairman would never sign those without official action. from
That's
the
why
board.
he's only holding this pen.
I thought I saw
Oh,
maybe
Numbering.
maybe a swoop. Which would you like to deal with first, Mr. Chairman?
Let's deal with the agreement for legal services 2023. That's the one that comes up first on your packet, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's for the,
Okay, I move that we authorize.
I think that's for the child support.
Legal services one.
Yeah.
First in my package.
It's just,
The 2-page document.
he's got, I don't know, he's got the other side of it, so I don't know.
You're on a 2-page document?
It's a 2-page
Uh,
document,
the first-
legal
The
service.
first one is agreement for legal services that comes up on the first of your,
Mine's like a 5-page.
That's the, yeah, that's,
Oh, there's 2 right in there.
this is the
Sorry.
child support one looks to be more of the,
So I'll get back to the agreement for legal services. I move we accept the contract and authorize signature for the legal services for the attorney for Laura.
Second.
okay, so I have a motion on the floor to accept the agreement for legal services for 2023 for the Human Services Department. Any further discussion on that? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And this child service one is bigger than 5 pages.
child support, yeah, that's the child support one, and that's
It'll be
bigger than the other
It's
one,
like
Another 12
plus.
pages.
yeah. Okay,
And you got 12 twice.
you got 12 plus? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it didn't, it rolled off of here, it just out printed.
Yeah, it's printed weird.
So what we are dealing with now is the child support enforcement purchase of legal services agreement.
And that's with the state. Right.
No, this is
This is us with us.
with us, with Dan Slater, the
Oh,
county
okay,
attorney.
this also.
Uh-huh.
I see it now.
But we had to hire him first before we could sign this one, Laura. We had to pay for it first.
Oh,
I'm teasing.
okay, I was like, what?
I would move we sign the agreement for legal services for the child support with Dan Slater.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to sign the child support enforcement purchase of legal services
They made it
agreement.
Page 12 for all the attachments.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on that?
It's an attorney thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Mhm.
We're the first ones to sign this. Nobody else has signed it.
No, I was letting you sign it first.
No point.
And I'll sign it.
Really a
And
treat.
also,
Really a treat.
That would.
I know, it's giving you guys, wanted you to have the first to sign
There
it.
you go.
I'll hand it to you and then hand it to
We
Bill.
had a great birthday party with 3 people that are near and dear to you.
Yeah, we just had a little get together. Not much, just a little get together, but it was fine. Yeah,
When did
That
that happen?
time of the year.
Saturday.
Was that their actual birthday?
That was their actual birthday was Saturday.
You told me about that. I remember hearing it now.
Yeah.
I think you posted that.
No, I know, my daughter did.
Everybody posts.
My daughter did, or somebody did. Somebody posted that, but yeah.
And here we let him get in and out without telling.
I know.
Birthday today too.
I know,
That was bad.
missed a chance. Did, dang it.
Our March birthday. Deal, right? We haven't had it yet.
No, we haven't had it yet.
We'll get a crack at him then.
Might
If we'd
be.
have, realized I'd have scribbled happy birthday on that cake in there this morning, he would have missed it already.
Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say, as fast as it went, everybody would have missed that it said happy birthday.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
You can put that with that and give it to Kelly to,
I don't know. Does Kelly need to sign it?
I don't
know. I just
No,
signed.
I just want a copy.
she needs
of
a
it.
copy.
She'll need a copy after, it's
After you-
after Dan signs and stuff. Yep, okay. All righty,
Laura's gonna-
All over.
okay. There we go. We got all that done. We got all the important stuff done. Sign my checks, sign the contracts. Okay. I'm done.
Thanks for coming in.
I'm out of here.
You know,
Yeah, thanks for coming in. No problem.
Snap.
Glad you showed up. early.
It's a snap.
There you go.
It's a snap.
Speaking of,
Speaking of snap. Yeah, we were getting calls all last month because the supplement was going to end, but when they did that, they decided to put the February supplement out later in the month. So it would kind of help people carry over. Oh my gosh, just calls and calls and calls. We're not getting our supplement. Where's our supplement? What's going on with the supplement? So got that taken care of. Now this month, so far, we're okay, but then the supplements, where the supplements usually go out, hasn't got here yet. So we're just waiting for more phone calls. But it is what it is, and that's what we tell them. We have no control over this.
so when the sticker shock hits them, you'll be on the phone again.
Yes, and I was on a call with the state and somebody asked the state if there was a phone number where people could call to complain.
No.
And they said, no.
Well, call the governor.
That's what you guys are for.
Yeah,
Give him his
so-
number.
So we just, have to listen to it. That's what we do, and it's what it is, and we can't change it. So there we go on that. So yeah, that's been real fun. But then we're just in the beginning of the month, so of the year, so we don't have a whole lot going on. But you will see a big decrease in the amount that's been next month for well, you won't see it until March, but the amount of the dollar amount that is spent on SNAP benefits is going to go down drastically. So because everybody was getting all those benefits, but people are just, they're freaking out because the food prices are so high, and that's exactly what it's about. But anyhow, all of the other ones are pretty, just, it's beginning of the year, so there's nothing out here that's woohoo. Yeah, we're still getting we're still getting late payments, and that'll go on until the end of applications. That'll go on until the end of April, so. But in our CSBG grant, we're getting hit hard with that lately because Energy Outreach is out of money for Black Hills. So anytime I get a Black Hills, I can't pay it with Energy Outreach. I have to pay it out of CSBG. And I had a gal came in yesterday. Her bill the month before was $156 or something. It was $500 that month. This month she goes, I can't pay this bill. So I don't know what the heck was going on. And she said, I don't either. So she was going to kind of check it out. But in the meantime, so that's what some of those checks that I had you do is because we're getting people with high energy, high Black Hills bills. But yeah, Energy Outreach is out of money. They set aside quite a bit of money statewide, and now they have completely run out of money because they're going, we did not expect that to be as big as that was. And so if it's Black Hills, I can't pay it. And I only have, they only gave me 5,000 and I only have 1,000. Remember, it's like 1,500 left in the EOC, and I'll be done with that. And the program goes to the end of September.
So,
yeah.
Laura begs the question, you got an allocation of 5,000, and you've spent 5,660.
Where are you?
Your Energy Outreach. And so how do you pay the 667?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's because, yeah, it's weird. I don't. Okay, I don't have enough money in there I don't think that's right. I don't think that added that right. If you,
It shows a need of.
yeah, I see that.
There's
There's something wrong with this thing. Now that I look at that, that's not right. Because it's got 4 payments, got 2, the total, none of that's right. Something's going wonky with that. I need to look at it. But I know that I have 1,000 something because I can see it on their site. But you're right, there's something wrong there. I don't know what happened to it. It's like it shifted or something. I'll look at that because it's not right. Okay, but yeah, because I know I have $1,000 left in there, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it's 1,500. And then I did a payment the other day for 5, and so now I have
About 1,000.
I have 1,000 in there. And I can see it on their site, but yeah, there's something weird with that. I didn't notice it when I ran that, but yeah, there's stuff happy there. So I will check that out because that's definitely not right. So. And then we have TFAB, and that just been staying about the same. Although I may see an increase this month, since people are not getting their full benefits and food, I may be seeing more people come in. Yeah, and I haven't been in a lot of TFAB products, so we'll see what happens.
So.
Okay. I don't have any more unless you guys do.
Good.
That's good. We're plugging away. How's that?
Say my power bill in San Isabel went up pretty good last month.
Yeah.
And probably just because of the cold, and so.
Yeah, well, this guy said it goes up, but I've never seen it go up this much. And I thought maybe when I first got the bill, it was like a combo that she couldn't pay up for the previous month. She had paid it the previous month. And that bill was that much. And I was like, what the heck? And that's what she said. Well, that's what I'm saying. And she's on fixed income, she's Social Security. And she goes, I can't pay this bill. So, but I had money in CSBG, so I can do that. So.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
For a limited time, yes, for a limited time. So we will see. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a pleasure signing
Come back
everything.
in.
Well, thank you for signing that. I appreciate that. Well,
That I did.
See you later.
I guess I don't have Bill Christie's.
You don't?
Oh, hey, there she is. Almost. I've been. You want to? Oh, there she is.
She's good.
Here I am.
Oh.
Am I in the hot seat again?
No, your phone wasn't ringing
Oh.
or something.
We've been working, Who's that?
That's good.
What's that?
You get the electric,
I get the hot seat again?
Check for wires.
I said,
She's
well,
got
I
a
think
neat
we're
shirt too. Everybody's got these neat new shirts.
Morning.
good to see you. I
Except
had
for
the
you.
cold. I apologize.
That's all right.
Good, how you doing? Good.
Oh, look, you even got the seal on the back.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming in with nice shirts today.
I know.
Your budget.
Hey, you better shop them.
You say shop them?
Shop them.
Chop them.
Both. Shop and chop.
Shop them.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Oh, hit the ground running. As you know, this is
you
my
did.
first report to the board. So I guess taking it from the top. Our
You got it.
grants are in jeopardy, shall I say, if we don't get some of this work done. And so we are to produce a draft completion on the emergency operations plan. That is a mandatory for the county, and we need to continue to work on that. We'll be going out with drafts. Bill can give us a little more information too about, I think most of the departments have completed their inputs.
Yeah, we've got, participation from everybody who I harassed. And
We'll get you.
so we're gonna infuse their inputs into the 2017 plan that ended up not having 2021 revisions ratified from whatever circumstances. So we're pushing forward, and we are up against a new tool / evaluation assessment that is invoked July 1 for the EOP.
So we don't need to approve that till June, you said.
The latest. That'll give us time to make those edits, send it back out for final
Okay.
approval. And gather up some loose ends. We're still looking for some policies.
Did you
From,
get a hold of Braden?
I didn't get a chance to, but we still need to follow up on HR and finance policies. To
The
include
phone
that.
system's giving us problems everywhere, because Jennifer just tried to get up. I guess, who was it was dialing in and it was not ringing? It was Laura. Laura didn't get any message. So something's weird.
Something's up with the
Not
phone.
coming on.
Yeah. So this is, this is not the highest priority because we have another plan that's kind of in the same scenario. Which is our second grant here. But any questions about EMPG or our EOP? Nope.
You did a good job talking about
is required
last
for
time.
both of them, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
The EOP is required for,
The EMPG and the HMPG. Both.
The EOP is driven by the EMPG.
right,
And if we fail in that, we lose any ability to even apply.
yeah, so that's
in
my salary,
future
so.
Years, and that's.
Shoot.
A little priority there, so,
Well, that explains the consternation there, so.
yes, exactly. Well, you probably don't want to also fund that directly from the county. HMPG. We got a denial from FEMA for that HMGP plan. And so we've been trying to figure out what it's missing and how to get it done. We started with just a phone call with the consultant in the state. Because the way the plan goes is goes to the state and then to FEMA. They had submitted it, I guess, in January. And on the 16th of February, they denied it.
They who submitted?
I think Adrian submitted it through
Okay,
the
I
state.
wondered if it went through the fire department, submitted there or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
But Adrian probably.
Yeah, I think he submitted, I don't know when exactly, but I'm guessing just around the time he was leaving.
Yeah, I think so.
And so there were 5 areas where they felt we were lacking. And this first phone call was like, okay, well, the state didn't catch any of those areas. They pushed it on to FEMA. So then we had a second phone call that was the state and FEMA and us and the contractor. In the meantime, I'm scrambling around trying to find the personal services agreement and what the contractor is supposed to do in this scenario. And come to find out, it was a 10-month agreement, and now we're on our 23rd month. So this has been elongated. So they wanted some of these things included, these mitigation actions for all high hazard that were designated in this table. So there was a table for the county, a table for city or town of Westcliff, and another table for the town of Silvercliff. And so I agreed to outreach, gather this information from the 2 towns in the county that was somewhat lacking in the high hazard actions, of which we've accomplished, I think, both towns. I've talked to both towns already. They're on
both district. We talked around Mountain, and we need to wait a couple of days to talk with Fire. Those are all on the calendar.
Mhm. So, this more integration of mitigation actions as well as some assets. And so, as you know, we felt like we were taking a bulk of this to gather information. The contractor was kind of pulling away further and further. So the contractor called and talked to Bill about the fact that we would owe more money for this final rewrite. And then again, that's where I started reading the fine print on the personal services. And so I asked the contractor who their CEO is. So we set up a call with the CEO and Synergy, and we set it up for Monday morning so we could figure out who's gonna have 5 weeks to write this. Is it us? Is it them? And 5 weeks is not a lot of time, especially when we have to get out to all the folks and get concurrence.
But you've got to start, you still use the skeleton that you've got here already submitted.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
so you're
yes.
not rewriting the whole thing.
No, the 371 page document is still intact.
Okay.
This would be about a 15-page rewrite.
Okay.
And so the CEO did not end up coming onto the call. And so I asked then for him just to be informed of our dilemma. And the next day we got an email saying that they will finish the contract. So, thought that was a good win.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
And so we are gathering that information, we're turning it over to them so they can make it look pretty in the tables and all the other things that they wanted. I've gotten really good response, both from both towns. And the requirement on this is that we will have to have that done, we hope, the end of the month for your board meeting to get ratification at the county level. We will still need that to happen with Board of Trustees in the two towns, but we can resubmit to FEMA without those other two signatures.
I may, so I think part of that was we had an awful lot of items named as high hazard.
Yes.
So is that being looked at to drop some of them that may
No.
not necessarily be high hazard?
No.
We tried.
We tried. Unfortunately, the tornado hazard that's high. Only in one of the three areas, you know, so far, everyone's told me the same thing. Once they remembered a tornado, once, so probably not a high hazard, but that was an identified need. And the way the table is driven, that bleeds through the entire plan. That would have caused an entire rewrite. And
We're just gonna leave it.
we're just gonna leave it. And we're just gonna address it. Most of the high hazards, we've added mitigation aspects and actions that are education. So it never hurts to educate about the possibility of a tornado. You know, there's a lot of the same actions that you would for other hazards.
Sure.
So I don't think there's any real issues there, but like how, you know, some things could be wildly different in the two towns and in the county. I think begs for a lot more integration the next time we write that plan, which that's a 5-year suspense. And it's really hanging us up because if we don't have the HMPG plan approved, we can't apply to some other grant funding.
Right. So it's really a county plan, which includes all municipalities.
Yeah, so it's really a nice integration because if we do a preparedness guide, let's say, you know, that can include the towns. They don't have to do separate ones.
Right.
So I think it's a great way to knit everything together. But you know, it's a lot of stakeholder input. And there were 3 external type meetings as a part of this process over the last couple of years. But I think we all would just, hope that we can really get it through the process this time and not be evaluated up against another new tool. So,
Emergency. Is it?
no, it's
No, I'm teasing.
Michael from Fremont County. So any other questions about HMPG? Okay, so I think we agreed that we try and have a draft to the BOCC by the 28th. So you could look through it and
Right.
hopefully get approved on the 30th.
And that scenario with ratification, approval, signatures, that was the only giving point on behalf of FEMA. We get the county involved with approval, and then the districts and the towns can trickle in with their approval after this deadline.
Good.
Okay, Homeland Security Grant. We have two different line items in the Homeland Security Grant, of which we have to purchase and have in hand by May 31st. So we are looking at some EOC materials. That will be no issue. But we have to get a change on our other funding, and we're still working on that. Bill and I are trying to put together a new concept, because these were the variable signboards. And those were purchased originally. I think there were more signboards than is, I guess, identified as needed. So there's additional money that we're trying to get changed to allow for other options. That's going to be a 6-week process just to get the approvals. So when we get that back, it'll be probably April. So it'll be a quick turnaround to be able to buy all those materials.
Well, the 3 variable message signs that we currently own were bought with ARPA money,
Okay,
not Homeland Security money.
okay. So that, maybe that's why there's the additional funds.
That's probably it.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was a 2-county partnership
Mhm.
with Fremont, and Fremont spent 18,000 of this Homeland Security grant, and there's 18,000 left. And then, as Tom, you just indicated, we got our 3 signs in other circumstances, so we're looking for a change order to,
Oh, because signs are put against that initially.
Mhm.
Okay, that's why.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
And Silver Cliff also has 2 signs.
Yeah, and I misspoke. It was not ARPA, it was the coronavirus relief fund dollars.
Okay.
And I believe Buck bought his 2 out of that
Same one, and we
money.
went down and brought them all up at the same time.
So
Mhm. Mhm.
none of those should have been charged against Homeland Security.
Right.
and they weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't, but they
But
were.
it was earmarked in there.
It was earmarked, and therefore it ties into a core capability on that Homeland Security grant, which has to have a nexus to terrorism. So we're, coming up with our new plan, which has to go through the South region and then to the state. Take at least 6 weeks probably to get that done.
See, can you buy a truck full of signs with and spend it on that?
Now, we've got some retail therapy ideas in mind.
Okay.
It's information. Intelligence and information sharing is the core capability that it's falling under. So we're pursuing something that might be able to fit under that category. Otherwise, we'd have to change the whole core capability, which might be more
It's
difficult.
like new radios and whatever. It's buy something.
Mhm.
Yeah, we put together our business case, put it before Larissa Oringdahl, which is the controller, if you will, and then, a vote presumably by South Region.
So yeah, those are all the short suspense is those three projects. And then the ongoing things are training, which the SEBA conference was real good. I think I've, said that before too. This group, but particularly getting to meet folks from Fremont and Pueblo, which would be our neighboring and mutual aid partners. And then also getting, more information on the county budget and this Homeland Security grant orientation. There is a possibility there might be leftover money for other projects as well. So we'll keep, dialed in on that and see if we need to apply, because the next year we don't have any grant funds from the 2021. So this is kind of our only opportunity for that funding until the 2022 funding. As you know, we had wind since I blew into town, and the windstorm event that we had that drove some roof damage. The county and the town of Silver Cliff went together and did a preliminary damage assessment, also known as a windshield survey. And we did get a file from Sangre de Cristo Utilities and working with Vernon on plotting the damage assessment onto a GIS map, so that we can see that, where the poles were down, the roofs were damaged, and there was also some roof damage in Silver Cliff, and that's why we went together on that. So a good exercise in damage assessment. I think you all were at the CES meeting, so you're probably pretty aware that we had good participation, and I think had good topics, and that our next meeting will be a training and exercise planning workshop. I've gotten the 2016 through 18 past workshop requests for training. So being able to compare where that's at, that's been a few years since we've had a lot of training. So we'll probably load up as much as we can to that April workshop, and then that drives into the South Region workshop in May.
Which we are hosting.
Yes.
Right before COVID hit, we were getting close to kicking off a training exercise on a bus crash down on the Hardscrabble. And they had named it "The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round." Have you seen any of that?
I have
Okay.
not seen any of that. I could ask Christy.
Yeah, I don't know how deep they got into the planning of that, but that was going to be the
Not
next
very deep.
exercise.
Yeah,
Training until COVID hit. So.
I do know Rich mentioned that they'd be interested in a mass casualty bus type incident. And certainly that transportation accident would be, tragic. It's not our highest high hazard. Honestly, a little more worried about wildfire coming into the season. But that we'll flush that out at the workshop and see what other people feel is a higher priority.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns?
Good, sir.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Sure.
No.
Put an E on the end.
How do you expect us to pronounce your last name?
Well, if you pronounce it all, you'll be right.
Okay.
Knappy.
Okay.
It's German.
It's not Knapp and it's not Nap.
Mm-mm.
Pronounce everything you see, you'll be fine.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Although hopefully she will answer to whatever.
Yeah, except we're late for dinner, right?
Late.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
both of you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I feel good about this transitional period. It's encouraging for me that I just don't think we've taken a nosedive in hiring a new OEM.
Good, well,
So-
Bill is to be thanked for that. And thank him for his service and in the interim and.
Absolutely.
I have a
continue.
degree in bridge building
Yeah.
or bridging the gap.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I feel like we've not really missed too many beats, and so you're supposed to be committed to that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, things are going well and I did put in a call to Jennifer or about public information officer and training and things like that. And we'll be working on some of that. As well as the reporter that called this morning and wanted to do an interview.
The Porter did
Mhm.
for what?
Wet Mountain.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's right.
Yeah. So just, protocol wise, going through the PIO and asking, am I the right person to be doing that interview? Is good standard procedure. So
Good.
we'll go forward. And it's an opportunity to talk about what Office of Emergency Management does and what we're, looking towards for preparedness and how it's really everybody's
Be
responsibility.
a good thing.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a good thing.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Thanks a
questions?
bunch. Rob,
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
We'll
Good
see
job.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Take Wild Bill with you.
Yeah, don't let the door hit him in the on the way out.
Nice guy. but good-
It's flat already from that
Yeah.
happening across the years.
See you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, are you guys good to keep going?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
so. That takes care of all of our staff reports. And I will take us now into two items on our items for business. First one will be consideration of certification of the EMS ambulance service and the ambulance vehicle permit.
I made it back in time. We were on a call and I was worried I wasn't gonna make it back in time.
You did it.
We went and approved it without you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Man.
How are you? Good.
You weren't too far away.
Yes.
No, we made it back from Salida just in time, so it worked out perfect.
Good.
All right, so we do this every year from my understanding. Brandon Chambers, the Southern Colorado RETAC guy, comes out, looks at our ambulances, fills out the forms, says our ambulances are good to go to work as ALS providers, and then we can ask for you guys to approve it.
So Brandon filled these out.
Yeah, Brandon fills out these inspections. Yep.
I thought I was gonna have to call you on the carpet or something.
I
but-
remember
geez,
seeing this
no.
last year.
No, Brandon fills those out.
Okay.
What'd he do?
I'm assuming that word is bio.
Yeah, biohazard vest.
Yeah, really, because it's, doesn't look like.
Yeah,
bio to
that's
me.
fair. Nope, that was Brandon. That was not me.
Yeah.
So he actually complimented us. He said it's been one of the best inspections he's done out here, so
Good.
we're pretty happy with that.
Well, I move we accept the, or what do we want to approve? What are we doing here? We accepting the inspection forms, or is this just information?
So those just go into, you have to approve our count or our ambulance license.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
It's approving the
Approving.
ambulance license
Yeah, so license for each
the-
ambulance.
for each ambulance for the year, what, 2023?
Yes, and I actually asked if we could extend it over a year because the state is actually changing how we're gonna do the licensing. And that goes into effect hopefully July 1st.
So we trying to get approved through July or through to the end of June?
That's for 2023.
You told me 20.
Thank you.
And the certificates say 2024.
Yes.
And I see
yes,
on
I
our letter, here, it
apologize.
says ambulance licensing
23, yes.
2020.
No. So
Expiration date of 2023.
that was definitely my bad. I was typing that up quick.
Both of those dates should say 2024.
Yes, so we look for today's date till July 31st, 2024, because hopefully by July 1st, the state will have their new system in and we won't need it past then, but just in case the
So
state,
then the motion would be to.
yeah, I apologize. That was my
We
fault.
actually certified.
Okay.
He's right. We certified the inspections and the license for those animals.
Okay, yeah.
I remember.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, this is my first one doing it, so I was kind of looking back to try and see what everybody else did and I know there's a certificate and then Brandon takes the actual licenses that go into the ambulance and he signs those as the inspector.
And we're doing 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, those are ambulances. We have 2, 3, and 4.
We don't have a number 1.
We never have since I started. I don't know what happened to number 1.
Probably got ran off into the hard gravel.
I heard it was a 2-wheel drive, so that's
Oh,
possible.
Yeah, there you go. If we didn't have, I will second that motion, sir. Let's certify the 3 ambulance inspection.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to certify the ambulance service licenses for ambulances 2, 3, and 4.
Mhm.
And bird vehicle permits. and stuff. Service licenses and vehicle permits.
So the permits Brandon Chambers signs because he was the inspector. So yeah, as long as we get everything approved and the certificate signed by you, he can sign the actual permits that go into the ambulance.
Further discussion from the table here. I had just a couple of things. I noticed on 3 and 4. Neither one of those had the backup alarm box checked. Number 4 did not have the emergency lights box checked.
I don't know why he didn't check those because those all worked. I know on 3, our backup alarm, our guy's actually working on it today. It got somebody backed into a pole and it broke our backup alarm, loosened a wire or something. So he was putting the wire back together today. But yeah, 4 has a backup alarm and emergency lights.
Okay, and it may have just been an oversight, and I noticed
Mhm.
a couple of them have the aspirin and the EpiPen and stuff checked, and then some of them don't. I would say you probably have that on all 3 ends.
We do. Brandon went through all the medications to check expiration dates and such, and I think we changed out one medication that was expired a couple days before, so. We do our expirations at the beginning of every month on every piece of equipment we have and item. But yeah, that Med 3 our backup one was not working when Brandon came,
So you had to stick your head out.
basically. Well, we just had somebody else get out and back it up, so it
And
works.
he circled tires on a couple of these. Does that just mean they're getting kind of close, but they're okay?
It shouldn't be. We just got all new tires on everything, so. Well, yeah, we
Yeah,
just
see on
went through
unit-
all new tires.
Unit 4, you just got it circled there and
Okay.
check that box. So that I just noticed they were different. It
Yeah.
kind of stood out to me, so I wanted to ask
No,
those
that's
questions.
fair. Yeah, we just got new tires on everything. Med 4 just got back probably a month ago because it was in an accident last summer. So they went through the whole thing and redid a bunch of body work and tires, and they just fixed the lights even, so. Yeah, and then the biohazard bags, we put all those in, and then triage tags. They weren't in the spot that they were supposed to be, so we figured that one out before Brandon left as well.
I have a question, but it's probably not pertinent to the motion, so I'll wait and ask it afterwards if you would allow it.
Any other discussion here on that?
And from me.
And not seeing anything from the room. Nothing online either. So those in favor of certifying the ambulance service licenses and vehicle permits signify by saying aye.
No, not the vehicle permits.
That's the, excuse me, yeah, it's for the ambulance.
Just the lights.
Yep, just the license.
Service licenses.
Aye.
Aye.
I did say aye earlier, and you
Oh,
guys
okay.
were arguing with each other.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That here hasn't died yet. So that motion carries. Okay, do you have a
I
question
do.
before we move on?
You want to sign those while I ask it or
That
whatever?
would work fine.
Update on the power cots.
Those are fantastic.
You got
Oh
them?
my god, yeah, we have them
Three.
all installed. Yep. Good to go. They are, holy cow. I've been doing this almost 7 years and
Yeah.
those make all the difference in the world. Yeah,
Hit a button.
just push the button and
And when you hit the back of the ambulance, everything folds up, or you have to power
So-
fold it up?
no, so it's got little arms that go underneath, so the arms pick the cot up and then you just slide it in and then it just drops down a couple inches and it's locked in and oh
They have to put
man.
brackets on the floor. of the
Mhm.
ambulance.
Yeah, we had to redo the whole
Yeah.
floor of the ambulance for them to put that in. Yep.
And the old cots.
They're getting returned and we did we kept one cot and we just retrofitted it to fit into the new system. And then the other 2 cots, we get
Credit.
credit from Stryker for them, so. Yep, and yeah, they're those things. I've seen them before, but I've never used them and it
Wow,
makes a huge
Good.
difference, so
they're good.
I do love it.
And I hear rumblings off of the record about resurfacing the EMS parking lot.
Oh, yeah, we're trying to get it where it's not like all mud and sunken in the winter time and summertime.
You have concrete aprons out in front of the doors now, right?
Yeah, yep, out in front of all of, yep. Rusty Caldwell and then my dad, I think, donated all the concrete and the work and. Yeah, that's nice too, because you don't have to put it in 4-wheel drive just to get out of the driveway or out of that part of the driveway.
Well, hopefully that movement will
Yeah,
get some traction.
definitely. I hope so. So, awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And then
You're welcome.
next year, I don't think we have to do this, so the state's changing it all up, but we're in meetings about it, so we'll see what happens.
Very good.
Awesome, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, next item up would be the consideration of providing Altitude Fitness a letter of support for their grant application. I believe that is in regards to the line that broke between the boiler and the pool.
And hard to,
We already found another one. Thank you. I'm fixing it now.
our motion to accept would have to be on a running scale as the document
It's
changes as we're voting on it.
I'm changing it to William.
He's got that and she's got the other one.
Just so you know, you were not the only one that spoke to her about our names. Had to have a little fun.
My name looks good.
Well, sure, absolutely. Uh-huh.
Well, I move we approve it once it's approved.
I
once it's-
would
when it's-
second that, yes,
Once it's
sir.
updated.
Okay. So with the names corrected. Okay, so I have a motion. Did I have a second?
You did, and I seconded it.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor to approve a letter of support for Altitude Fitness to the Gates Foundation. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Okay. Not seeing anything online. Those in favor?
Hey,
Aye.
Motion carries.
Was it Bill? Is that how she had it?
Yeah. So when those come back, I will sign. I guess we all three will sign. Do we have any other additional items of business?
No,
None from here.
sir.
Okay, that will take us to public comment. If anybody has anything they would like to bring to us at this time, feel free to do so. I'm not seeing any hands online. That being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 12:42 PM. I think one and all.
Yeah.
Which
well,
one?
there you go.
Me
Okay.
for one,
You're gonna thank
and everyone
yourself.
else is
Yeah.
all.
I thank myself and everyone else.
And
Yeah.
we are just in time because my left ear just died.
Oh,
So we did good.
I hate it when that happens.
It lets me know 4 or 5 times before it
Give
does.
you a warning beep.
So.
well, we have several choices in the evening, but we usually settle on the sound of crickets. If I cover my right ear, no, if I cover my, yeah, if I cover my right ear. No cricket sounds.
I can resemble that remark. So, and I believe we have adjourned.
I have an answer, a little bit of an answer. So, and I